Hey guys! Okay, today I'm going to give you the Does Dating Suck Over 40? 5 psychological hacks to make women obsessed. Okay, point number 1 is the 6 p.m. Simp rule. And the number one thing you probably need to work on is understanding the psychology of women dramatically better. And I say this time and time again. Most older guys that I meet and that I coach don't have a clue about this stuff. I'm going to bring on James straight away because he's got a lot to say about this subject. Hi, James.
Don't text women back before 6 p.m. If you're an older guy, you're trying to create this, in some cases, illusion. You're trying to create this sort of image that you're this busy guy with a lot going on who's successful. You shouldn't just be, I've got a phone to demonstrate on. You shouldn't just be, oh, she texted me. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then the little ticks come up, and if you don't have read receipts, whatever, you can't let it go blue, whatever that's called. Just so many guys make this mistake. Very successful, like hedge fund guys who live on what's called Wolseley Road, Point Piper, the most expensive street in Australia. I've coached guys there. It's like they get a girl, if they like her and she's a bit younger, and they're like, oh, she texted me. So yeah, just ignore. I mean, like the way I do it is I have WhatsApp. I have another messaging app, which I won't say, where TESS, some other people, very close friends, like 5 people max can reach me on that. Then I have WhatsApp that I don't even open unless I need to. So you might not be Elon Musk, you might not be the most successful person in the world, but at least give the girl the illusion you're not just obsessed. Oh, that girl I met on Sunday messaged me. Jolly good show. So yeah, don't be one of those guys. Tess, do you want to maybe give the beautiful woman point of view on this?
Yeah, exactly. Women, doesn't really matter how attractive or how well you did, in the initial approach or, how much she likes you. If you come across like you're trying way too hard, it makes you seem desperate. And it just, subconsciously will make her feel like you're less desirable. This is in the early rapport building, dating part of the relationship. So there's definitely a lot of benefit to just keeping a little bit of distance. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed that when you're not interested in a woman and you're not making any effort towards her whatsoever, and you're not being available to her, etc., that's often when women, they want you more. So just play a little hard to get in the beginning. It can keep the allure there. You don't want to just put her on a pedestal and and show that you're going to be at her beck and call and obsessing over her, because it just it devalues you.
Thanks, Tess. I just had a wee bit of a camera incident. Obviously I try to start with something that's going to add a lot of value to guys and help make us like you, help make you like us. But it's just so important. I mean, women, I shouldn't say every woman on the face of the earth, when girls get text messages, they're like, oh, Trevor message back, what should I say? And it's like this science, whereas we're just like, oh, you're great, when can we go on a date? There's unfortunately, the most important thing, Tess, or I can say to you is dating is a game. Dating is a game that, you just got to decide you want to play it. Just to give you some examples, Val, Russian girl, blonde girl on the YouTube channel. She's dated billionaires, celebrities, pretty much every guy over 35, 40 would know of well, because they'd had #1 songs around the world. If a guy's messaging her back straight away, it's just like, no, I want some busy, successful guy, not some eager guy who's like, oh, I'm going to get a model. So the image you want to portray, especially the beautiful woman younger than you, is you're not thinking about girls all day. And the reality is that most guys aren't getting much, even very successful ones, oftentimes the most successful ones, because they're working 12 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. But you don't want the girl to know that. So yeah, whatever your work hours are, say you work 9 till 6 or whatever you work, you do not go datey waity, texty wexty with girls you're looking to meet then. And the other thing, while I'm on this rant, if when you first, this is huge for guys watching this who, you know, are reasonably successful, who are busy guys, what they do is they meet this girl and yeah, I'll take her to the expensive restaurants and I'll take her on this holiday and I'll give her all this time and energy. And then, you know, they have sex with her 12 times or 15 times. Maybe they take her away for a weekend. They get I'm getting sex. They get that out of their system. And then they just forget about her. And she's like, why weren't you replying to my text straight away? And this can actually tank a relationship. That might be some of the best tips I'm giving you tonight. Because yes, so many successful guys get a girl, sweep her off their feet. And then as soon as they get back to employee problems or sales problems or some problem with their profession, they just sort of forget about her and just want to bang her on the weekend and go on a date in the weekend. So don't do that. 6 p.m. simp rule. I used one of those new cool internet words for the first time. How good's that? Okay, Tess, anything you want to add to that before we get on to the next point?
I think you've covered that one pretty well. It's a pretty simple one, guys. It's an easy one to remember. 6 p.m. after office hours.
I'll have to put a little trademark beside that. It's my intellectual property. Stay away, all you dating coaches watching, copying me. Where are we? Okay, number 2 is early exit strategy. Before I get into that, if you've tuned in here, whether live or in the replay, you're probably over 40. You might be 67. Someone emailed me just then. You're probably somewhere, you know, 40 to 65. And a lot of stuff has happened in our life in terms of gender relations. And a heartbreaking thing that I'm seeing with so many men, really desirable men, is they've just given up on women and dating altogether. It's just too difficult. Dating apps don't work. They clearly don't work. Nano banana on Google, any girl can look like a supermodel with just a few prompts. And they're worried about the whole post-Harvey Weinstein thing, and they've just given up. This has left armies of amazing women, particularly, you know, in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s, which is what most of you guys are looking at, who are just perpetually bottle of red wine, 2 or 3 cats, Sex and the City reruns, just waiting for some guy. I'm currently in Indonesia, and just the amount of attention I'm getting is just mind-blowing. I mean, look at me. I'm old and skinny and whatever. So yeah, early exit strategy. Guys don't get many dates, including many successful good-looking ones. We had the ultimate good-looking example in the last boot camp. They don't get many dates. And when they go on it, it's a big deal for them. And I'll speak about myself. And what I used to do when I got that one date every year, I just hang around, hoping that suddenly her legs flew open and I got to have sex with her, when I had no plan on how to make that happen. And, you know, I'd just go on dates, even was a really busy, successful guy. And I'd be on there for 3 or 4 hours, and eventually she'd go, okay, well, yeah, I've got to get up in the morning. So yeah, I'm going now, which can sometimes be a woman's test to see if you know what I've got to get up early in the morning means. That's one of our YouTube videos. Yeah, so what the strategy is, one of the most valuable things we do for our clients is you work with Tess, sometimes Natalia or someone else and me, to give you like a comprehensive date plan. So where you live, you've got a place you can meet them. You've got a place you can maybe go for a nice walk, maybe in nature, maybe a busy shopping street. And then you've got a closing location, which is hopefully something near your house where you can start to, you know, touch her more and that sort of thing. That's near your bed. So we want to give you a really powerful date plan. And if you're living out in the suburbs somewhere, we'd give you a certain date plan. If you're really confident and good, we might give you a one-step date plan where you try to sleep with the girl on the first date. If you're the average guy, you need to have a solid 2 or 3 step date plan where you've engineered it all, like you're going to put up a building or make a marketing funnel. So one of the huge mistakes guys make is they let the date drag on and on and on and on and on, and unless you're, I don't know, my references are so old. Unless you're Muhammad Ali or Orson Welles or someone who's absurdly charismatic, I mean, Obama was pretty bloody charismatic too, then you're not going to impress a girl on the first date for like 90 minutes or 2 hours. So if you're not in a situation to sort of head towards the bedroom, and escalate, then just cut it. If you're boring and you're a programmer and you've got a bit of Asperger's and you're not very good at talking to people, you don't really like talking to people, you'd rather be coding or playing video games. If you're one of those guys, just try to give her a really good 45 minutes on the first date. If you're a bit more charismatic, you work in sales, you've had your fair share of attractive girlfriends before, really you shouldn't be going on much above 75 minutes, 90 minutes. In most situations, much of dating advice is a generalization. So yeah, don't wait around endlessly for sex. When it's going good, leave on the high and go, hey, Tess, it was wonderful to meet you tonight. I'm going to get up early for a meeting tomorrow. Give her a quick hug and go, yeah, so I'll shoot you a text later in the week. And then she's like, I used to walk on catwalks. They used to fly me around to walk on catwalks. I've got 2 degrees. No man's left a date early with me since the Obama presidency. I'm not sure what's going on here. And it just completely turns the tables on it. We might, okay. Tess, your response soon, or your point of view. Yeah, please ask us questions. Please ask us questions. I look back at my little YouTube graphs. I'm learning how to be a bit of a marketer, not just a great dating coach. And yes, sometimes your questions about the stuff we give you is the most popular part of the whole thing. So give us really good questions. Give us really good questions. You're over 40. You may be out of the game for a while. Your confidence is down. You might be getting some grey. You might not be as ripped or as muscly as you used to be before. You're very, very busy. You've been rolled over in a divorce, maybe spent years in family court. Unfortunately, you spent most of the last 5 or 10 years having sex with your mouse in your hand. Just ask us questions. What are your sticking points? How can we help you? Tess?
Yeah, absolutely.
Early exit strategy.
Yeah, so with regard to early exit strategy, okay, there's nothing worse than when you've gone on a date and you've been sitting at a restaurant for 3 hours and you get dessert and it's like, you're sitting across a table, you've had some good conversation, but it's like super stale at that stage. And, it's quite a lot of energy. And then you go home and you're like, wow, okay, that was a lot to take in. And yeah, I don't know if I want to see James or whoever it might be again for a little while now. I need a little break. So yeah, by keeping those first dates short and sweet, you just leave the woman in a place, you kind of like set the hook and then leave her wanting more, right? So you're leaving on a high and you're keeping that allure alive as well. So yeah, that's really, really important. In some scenarios, you might say, okay, a day might be going so well that it just doesn't end. You start off with a coffee date in the morning and then you end up spending the whole day with each other, which is awesome, which is really, really awesome if you're connecting really well. But it's that might be better on a little bit down the track, after you've sort of set the precedent of leaving her wanting more by having a shorter date in the beginning. Also, you want to make a really strong impression, make it also seem like it's about playing the game a little bit. Make it seem like, you're not just, you've got places to be, you've got things to do, you're a busy person, you're not just waiting around on the weekend to hang out with a woman and shower her with gifts and yeah, put her on a pedestal. So again, it's about having that a little bit of distance, which yeah, keeps the allure alive.
Tess, do you have an example? If anyone hears music in the background, let me know. A concert's happening right beside the co-working space I'm in now, which is, you know, kind of good. I found a deserted co-working space, and it's been great for me. But yeah, concert happening. Anyway, Tess, can you give some examples? I'm throwing in the deep end here. You've been a date with a guy. You're really looking forward to date. It's really cool, but you know, an hour in, you're like, this guy could be my next boyfriend, or maybe in your younger days, yeah, this guy's hot, I wouldn't mind. And then an hour later or something, he says something stupid, the conversation goes stale, and yeah, you're not really that attracted anymore, and he doesn't get another date simply because he dragged on so long. If you could give examples or just give the beautiful female perspective on this, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have actually been on a few dates, which were off dating apps, where yeah, met up, and it was sort of supposed to be like a casual meetup, and it sort of progressed on to having lunch and then going to the beach, and yeah, it was just it's just very draining, especially, you know, off a dating app as well, where it's like a first date, you're meeting the person for the first time in real life. So it's a lot to take in, you know, and yeah, it drains your energy. So I've had a few dates like that where at the end of it, I was kind of like, yeah, don't think I want to do that again. Like I'm just gonna, yeah, say I just want to be friends, or, you know, politely decline a second date, because it was just way too much, way too early. You know, it's, yeah, as I said, on the other hand, I've had really great first dates, which, you know, you're playing into the female psychology of that allure where, yeah, I've just had really short, snappy, fun, dynamic first date, kept it short, and then I was like, oh, cool, that was fun. Yeah, I think I like this person. Like, I want to know more, right? And it also invited me to be a little bit more active with texting as well. You know, after one of those really long dates that I was describing, I was kind of like, oh God, I'm not going to be talking to this person after I've spoken to them all day. I probably don't want to, you know, even reach out for a few days, sort of thing. So yeah, I've definitely experienced that firsthand.
What's it like where you start off, oh, this guy is hot, this guy, we've got so much in common. He's a surfer. If you want to even test to talk to you for more than 5 minutes, you better learn to get down the face of a 5-foot wave pretty well, because Hemsworth hasn't got a chance if he doesn't surf. What's the Thor one, the driver one? Chris.
Liam.
Oh, but you like Liam, but Chris is the one. I wouldn't know Liam if he came up and punched me in the face. Okay, dokie. So yeah, that's really important. You got to remember, you're not that interesting. You're not that charismatic, most of you. And even if, like, hopefully I am, given I've spent so much of my life public speaking, you're not that charismatic for 2 hours with a girl you just met. So unless the way to keep women interested is connection, but you can only take connection so far. The way to keep, I met a girl a short time ago where the connection was insane. We could have had like a 4-hour first date. It would have been easy. But that doesn't happen too often. So yeah, unless there's an extreme connection, a lot of guys kid themselves about this, or you are supremely charismatic or something, then you should cut it. There is a situation, certain women, especially very beautiful women, they can be just a wee bit self-obsessed. I can think of several models I dated who definitely fixed that up, who fitted that that profile. Not necessarily in a bad way. It's just not really anyone ever listened to them because they were so hot or something that they weren't used to actual people listening. Tess, is the music annoying you? Can you hear
I can
it?
hear it. I can hear it. It's okay though.
Sorry, guys.
It's I mean, it sounds like piano. It's not the worst music.
So it's obvious I've got a background track to this YouTube live.
I can hear it.
Anyway, let's get on with things.
Okay.
Yeah, questions. What are you struggling with? What are your sticking points? How can we help you get to the next level? I think we're kind of entertaining, but there's more entertaining stuff on YouTube. Let us change your life. Let us change your life. Help us. I've been doing this 20 years, come November or September this year or something. So next up, we have the "in like Flynn" secret. There's a question. Who knows where the saying "in like Flynn" comes from? Who knows where the saying "in like Flynn" comes from? Not many people. Probably. Do you know, Tess?
No.
Shit. I should have come up with a better title. One of the most famous actors of all time is an Aussie named Errol Flynn, who was an ex-amateur boxer who went to Hollywood, and I think he played Tarzan. And apparently Hollywood has never seen anything like this guy. Never seen anything like this guy. Leonardo DiCaprio was a rank amateur when it came to rounding up models and actresses and bonking them. Warren Beatty was a rank amateur. And yeah, he was in the Wilt Chamberlain category, like thousands and thousands and thousands. And his biographer interviewed a whole bunch of women he'd had affairs with to do a good biography. And like, why is this guy such a womanizing monster? What's he got that the other guys don't? And their answer was quite simple. It was that he was just the most relaxed, confident guy that they'd ever met. Just the most relaxed, confident guy they'd ever met. So before I get into an example, Tess, what's it like for you if you're with a guy who's just so sure of himself, so relaxed, so laid back, just like he'd been meditating or he'd smoked some good dope or something, but he's still very charismatic and interesting? What's that like for a woman? Say a guy who's maybe not as attractive as you'd ideally like, or maybe not as successful, or maybe a fair bit older than you'd ideally like. What's it like when you're around a guy who's just like so chilled and comfortable?
Yeah, it's definitely very attractive. I think, yeah, when you meet a guy for the first time and yeah, he's just completely comfortable in his own skin. He's not nervous or doing anything weird or trying weird lines or just forcing anything. It's much easier to connect with that with him because you're not like, oh, what's he doing? And it also just makes him seem super confident around beautiful women, which makes you think that he has experience in that domain, which is great. I guess, so many guys, they just, I don't know, they just get really nervous, and it's so obvious. And yeah, it's hard to be attracted to a guy who's, I don't know, who can't converse, can't look you in the eye, can't, is not listening to what you're saying because he's too busy like freaking out about how beautiful you are or something like that. So yeah, it's again, it comes back to what we've been saying. It's like it's when it seems like it's effortless and the guy's not trying to impress you, that women, that's really alluring to them. They're like, oh, who's this guy who's he clearly is spoiled for choice with women. He's obvious, that obviously makes him a high quality man. That's what women want. So it's very, very sexy.
Tess has done an exceptional job of this. Thank you. Like, exceptional job of this. She hit on something I hadn't jumped to conclusion. It shows you're relaxed and confident around really beautiful women. Talk more about that. Talk more about the opposite, maybe.
Yeah. So guys who are, clearly nervous speaking to beautiful women, it's obviously because they don't have the self-esteem to think that they're worthy of that person, right? Or they've just never been with a beautiful woman before. They don't associate with beautiful women. And it's new and scary for them. So, and usually that means, there's something that they're not doing right. They haven't had that experience before, right? So it's kind of like, if you're really comfortable and confident around beautiful women, to other beautiful women, they think, oh, okay, this man's kind of been pre-selected by my sisters, and that's cool. Now I approve of him. And then the opposite is true as well. It's like, okay, this guy obviously has no clue. He's got no experience with women. He's not going to be good in bed. He's not going to be. It's not exciting. She might be really nice and kind of feel sorry for you, but it's definitely not sexy and attractive.
That's a fantastic answer, Tess. So I didn't directly see the link. I should have. Relaxed and comfortable and confident and carefree around women is a sign you've had a lot of them before and you've had relationships with beautiful girls. I'll try to spare you the Charles Darwin, who's one of my hero lectures from Origin of Man. But women are obsessed with pre-selection. If me at 54 is seen with a 20-something model, pretty much every other 20-something model is like, who's that? And if the girl I'm with is hotter than them, having sex with them is almost effortless. Effortless is an exaggeration. It can be extremely easy. And don't think you'll do some pickup artist thing of hire a model and pretend and tell her to act like she's your girlfriend. Some guys do that because women can tell when you're like, women can just look at a couple and go, they've been together a while, or they just started seeing each other, and it's so often accurate. I think I haven't told this story for a while. I'm not even sure if I've ever told it. I was dating a few girls at that time. I was up to 4 when I met this girl. And I started dating a girl. She wasn't a surgeon, but she was in her 2nd or 3rd year of becoming a brain surgeon. Obviously, a pretty smart girl. Not as smart as some of the Russian girlfriends, but pretty smart for Australian-American girl. I was obviously having sex with her and I was seeing other girls and I wasn't shy about that and she didn't like it. So she made this line, "You are the world's biggest bad boy." And I said, "What? Are you kidding? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life." And I don't mind a debate every now and then. And I go like, me, a bad boy? I'm a good guy. I'm the best guy. How can I be a bad boy? And she's like, "You're such a bad boy. You're such a bad boy." So anyway, when she starts calling me a bad boy, I'm saying, like, at that stage, I'm a vegan. I don't own a leather jacket. I can't ride a motorcycle. I've never owned a fast car or a sports car. I just couldn't be bothered. I'd rather invest in the S&P or something, or crypto. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I haven't had a fight since my 20s. I don't do any drugs at that stage, not even the hallucinogenics, no drugs. I hadn't done, because I was traveling. I didn't want to get into trouble in foreign countries. I spend a good chunk of my exercise was sex, but a good chunk of my exercise was doing yoga, and I'm a meditator. I'm skinny as anything. I haven't lifted a weight in probably 10 years at that point. And I dress like the most boring dude you've ever found. I dress stylish, but I dress so boring. How the hell can I be a bad boy? And I hope this doesn't sound conceited, but it's really, really valuable to you guys, I think. her basic point was, you're just so relaxed and confident and sure of yourself in virtually any situation. And she'd thrown me quite a few women's tests because she was starting to feel a little something, particularly with my sexual skills at the time. And yeah, she was getting attacked by her friends and her family that you're going to fall in love with this guy and you're going to fall for this guy and we'll spend a long time digging you out. So I said, but how can I be a bad boy? I'm a vegan. I can't fight very well. And she said, you're such a bad boy, such a bad boy. So it's like, firstly, you throw me around the bed like I'm a rag doll. I know you're sleeping with lots of other girls. You don't even go to the trouble of denying it. You're just one of these guys who just takes what they want from women and then just discard them when they're finished. Or if they give you any hassle or speak back or anything, you just forget about them and stop answering their messages. And then she asked me a question, what would you do if I broke up with you tomorrow? And I said, oh, yeah, that wouldn't be very nice. Whatever, it didn't matter. I had an 18-year-old Swedish girl and two others, and I was traveling anyway, so I was going to leave her city soon. And I didn't lie, but I said, yeah, I've had a lot of fun with you. You're so much fun. The sex was great. And then she says, you couldn't care less if I dumped you tomorrow. I said, okay, when you leave, do you think you'll think of me much? And I'm like, yeah, maybe from time to time, because I was just traveling full time at that time. I can't remember if I was doing boot camps. I think I was probably just started doing boot camps. There's no doubt in your mind that you're going to get what you want, and you nearly always do. And whenever I start getting angry or essentially testing you, I mean, you just basically laugh at me. And she said, and it sounds big-headed, but a lot of women, including some really attractive ones, said, you're just the most confident man I've ever met. Now, this isn't terribly big-headed because I made basically all my money as a public speaker and a salesman. And I've traveled to 103 proper countries over 7 years, like Pakistan and Iran, places when there's wars on. So yeah, I'm not really too fussed about a lot of stuff. And then hopefully they want pretty girl talking again. And I might have got the order mixed up. So this order, this then. She goes, I said, and I think she's like a super wealthy girl, ducks to the most expensive girls' school in her city, won the surgery prize. I'm like, you wouldn't know a bad guy if he you've got no idea what a bad guy is. You went to the most expensive school in the city. You're studying medicine. What's your idea of a bad boy? He's an ear, nose, and throat guy who rides a Harley and he's got $3,000 Armani leather jacket. Is that your ex-boyfriend, bad boy? And she goes, no. And she goes, he was a bad boy. And I said, what? And it turned out he was a freaking gangster. He's like a serious gangster. And I'm like, okay, I think I just lost that argument. This little wannabe brain surgeon's dating one of the celebrity gangsters in Melbourne, by the sounds of it. And I'm like, really? Like, if he sees me with you, am I in trouble? And then she's like, oh, I shouldn't have revealed that. He's going to run away thinking he's going to get the shit kicked out of him and beaten up with iron bars. And that thought did cross my mind when I went to sleep that night, given that 18-year-old Swedish girl was pretty good too. And so I just asked her straight out, part for my own self-protection, because I had an amazing life at that point. Has he ever killed someone? She goes, I never had the courage to ask him. And I said, oh, do you think he did? She goes, I think he probably did. So here's me thinking some cosmetic surgeon who, did a bunch of cocaine in university is a bad boy. No, he possibly kills people. He's part of some famous gangster family. So anyway, hopefully you learned a lot about that. Just be relaxed, be calm. That's one of the reasons actual proper gangsters, and I've hung out with a couple of them, in part trying to learn about why they're so good with women. That's one of the reasons they do so well, because it's just like, you fuck with me, I'll kill you, or I'll get you severely beaten up. So that gives them a level of just confidence in normal situations that the average guy doesn't have. So, Anyway, Tess, if you talk more about being relaxed on a date, I think I've done that one pretty thoroughly. We might do questions now. Someone's going to have a good question after all this. Okay, before we throw to Tess, don't wait till the end, my regulars, because you know roughly how long we usually go before Tess goes, I'm going to quit if we don't stop. And I go, I'm getting, my little skinny body's getting hungry. Don't wait to the end. Shoot us your amazing questions now. And I think we've given you enough material. Tess, just a guy being super relaxed on a date, which Tess brilliantly pointed out, has a huge correlation with his had beautiful women before pre-selection. Sorry about the wanky 4-syllable word. Go for it, Tess.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly what James said. It's when you can just tell he has high self-esteem, high confidence if he's able to remain calm when he's speaking to you and when he's on a date. Which basically means, okay, this guy's, he's been around beautiful women before. So there's got to be something that other beautiful women like about this guy if he's able to associate with them, and that makes other beautiful women interested. They're like, oh, okay, so what is it about this guy? What is it? Keep calm, guys. Meditation helps. Hanging out with beautiful women helps. You want to get used to that, and so that when you are approaching a woman that might be a little bit intimidating to you, it's not necessarily visible on the outside.
Yeah, that to be honest, when I did have quite a lot of success, so much of that was my secret. Like my last girlfriend was really hot, or I was seeing 3 or 4 at once who were pretty hot, in some cases really hot. So yeah, if I approach or date another girl, it was just like, oh hey, so what you love to do when you're not working at Myers selling sunglasses at Sunglass Hut? I'd just be sitting relaxed, which segues perfectly into my next question, my next point. Adopt the job interview frame, trademark social coach 2026. I'm looking at all these YouTubers who get a lot more views than me and don't have particularly good advice, and they always name things. So this is the job interview frame, or I don't know, I've got to get better at the naming things. Let's get to comments before we get on to that.
So yeah, hey guys. Simon, comments, questions about any of the points we've brought up tonight. We're here to help you.
This could be comment of the night. Come along to more of these. I love this attitude. Action taker. I'm horny and I'm ready for this live. I cannot wait. Before people go, oh, he just wants to have sex. If you want to meet your dream girl, sleep with quite a few girls, because you're going to have a bigger selection for your dream girl. You're actually going to know what you're looking for, but you're going to be so much more confident when you meet her, particularly if she's a bit younger or hotter than you're used to getting. One of the biggest tips of all. And that's what gives you the Earl, what's his name? The Errol Flynn, blah, 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 blah. This music's fucking with my mind. That's what gives you the Errol Flynn confidence. Wilt Chamberlain's 20,000 women, his confidence probably came from the fact that what he had between his legs was something that most men couldn't really match. You've seen the guy's hands, it's like, wow. I'm sure he was, that's what they teach nurses in nursing school. It's like, apparently that's what God equipped you with, that. And it might be a bit close to the it might be a bit close to the bone for me. The bone. I didn't mean that to come across as mildly funny. How are the questions, Tess?
We've got a few things coming through. What was I going to say? I wanted to just add on to what James was saying there, guys, about sleeping with, getting some experience up, right? So you don't want to be saving yourself for your princess, because when you come across her, you're going to stuff it up if you don't have the experience to back yourself. So you've got to just get the experience up, and that it's worth a lot. So let's move on to the next one. Simon's got a comment. Hey there, I've noticed that my confidence is improving and that my conversation skills are improving. A woman I didn't know, it went well, and she was fascinated with my conversation. The texting exchanges went really well. And he also, following on from that, says, seeing my Kung Fu instructor and reconnecting with him today in almost a year. He was proud of the work I've done. He has noticed a positive change in me since I've been tuning into these sessions. Awesome, Simon. That's really great. Really great to hear that it's working. You know, you've picked up on some of the conversation skills, and that's working well for you, as well as in Kung Fu, you know, different parts of your life as well. So this stuff, the thing is, I think that these skills do help you in all social situations, and they just help you connect with people in general. It's not just women, and yeah, and often what it does is it just gives you more confidence because you're like, hey, I've got this skill, I can connect with people, I feel good about myself, and that kind of translates into everything in your life. So these skills are super, super, super valuable. And yeah, it is life changing. And that's awesome, Simon, that you're saying that other people are actually noticing that in you as well, not just you you feeling that in yourself. So that's really cool. Really, really cool. Thanks for sharing. James is I'll just move on to the next one. I'm sure if James wanted to comment on that. But James, did you want to comment on Simon's
I'm just trying to cut the noise down. Yeah, that's great. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, oh, you've already put it up. I'm an idiot. Yeah, thank you so much, Simon. Yeah, I don't know, we're giving you guys a lot of stuff, and the guys who are attending somewhat regularly are reinforcing it. One of the things quite high on my to-do list is actually to start a podcast with these, because it makes it much easier for you guys to listen to. It sounds big-headed, but I mean, I'm really researching YouTube a lot, so I'm watching quite a bit of the content of people who are way more successful than me. And I don't know if any of them are more successful at actual dating coaching. I'm quite shocked by some of the stuff that comes out their mouth. I don't get in trouble, but even Andrew Tate, who, you know, has definitely had his fair share of beautiful women and is, you know, obviously a proper alpha male and, you know, very charismatic and funny and all that sort of thing. He said something today. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me? I mentioned him now, I'll have to say it, yeah. Andrew Tate today said that beautiful women are out of limits for all these average guys. And his justification was because you've got these guys who have a lot of money and they put these Instagram pages together that shows they've got a lot of money and whatever, a really good life. His claim is that they've all got 20 different girls that they're paying the bills for because they can afford to, who are sleeping with them. This may be true, but what he doesn't tell you, and what I'm not even sure if he understands, is that yes, the girl might be getting her bills paid by all the money, and she might even suck his dick or have sex with him, you know, once or twice a month. But if that girl's in her 20s, particularly with the way the world is now, I will almost guarantee you she's got some barman or some yoga teacher or some personal trainer or some guy who plays, you know, 80s and 90s cover songs, or some ex-boyfriend, or some big-nosed, skinny vegan dude who doesn't own a leather jacket, who's just traveled full-time for the last 5 years and is more interesting and exciting than the other guy she's with, who's pretty good in the sack. I will almost guarantee where it's just I pay your bills, I pay for your travel. Yeah, some of my female coaches have got into relationships like this, and I know I hear that they many of them, especially when Jackie's around, who's wonderful, they talk to me like I'm just another one of their hot girlfriends, in part because they know it's going to impress me if they can actually help me with my content. So yeah, I don't know why I started on that, but yes, so much of the advice that you guys are receiving is just not good. So yeah, so glad you're coming along to these. Vichor, is that the finance guy?
Yeah, that's Luke.
Oh, unreal. He's come to many of these and he's doing private training. We're going to have another monster stud.
No,
He's doing all these Zoom calls with TESS. He's coming to most of these or some of them, and he's doing private training. Yeah, I will want to make sure we get you something pretty special. Thanks for your support on the YouTube lives. I can't wait to get you in a room with TESS, Natalia, Kota, Val, Monique, miss someone. Yeah, it could be Andy, and there's a few others. It could be good. So any other questions? Thank you so much for that, Simon. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have another one here. History G, yep, says, you talk a lot about how men need to ask questions and listen. In a future live stream, can you please talk about how men should relate to what the women said and how men should talk about themselves? Yeah, I think we have mentioned this a little bit in the past. Do you want to talk about this a little bit, James?
We'll give him a cliff notes. I'm giving you the big nose, Cam. I'm talking about how men. Okay, how do you relate to her? You ask questions and listen well to get her onto topics where you're actually interested in. That's going to be easier to relate. This is where, as I was doing the content for today, I've got some points I've left till a bit later that are so advanced, that are really good. But once you've slept with 15 or 20 attractive girls in a year, if you are promiscuous, it's probably not most of you given our age ranges we're targeting. But once you're pretty confident, a lot of these psychological points are really helpful. But for the average YouTube guy, I'm not sure if I'm getting a bit carried away. One of my bad mistakes in making YouTube content is I assume I'm coaching some of my better clients who are wildly successful with women relative to any tall, handsome fund manager you can really imagine, within reason, unless I've coached him. So yeah, I often talk on YouTube at sometimes several levels above where most of the audience is. So in terms of what you do, that's an excellent question, man. Excellent question. You try to use the skills we're giving you here, or if you want to book a session with TESS, which we'll talk about in a second, you try to use those skills to get onto topics you want. If you book a session with TESS, we give you open-ended questions to help you get onto those topics. And what you should do is you should relate in short, bite-sized pieces. It's like if I approach or meet TESS, or I'm on a first date with her and it turns out she's a paraglider, it's not like, oh, you paraglide. Oh my God, that's unreal. That's unreal. What I'd quickly say is I've skydived, paraglided, bungeed a bunch of times. Tell me more about paragliding. So I share a tiny bit about myself to give her license to just, crap on about paragliding for the next 20 minutes. You go, oh, this guy's really into that stuff. But what most guys would do is paragliding. That's unreal. I haven't paraglided, but I've skydived over Perth, and I've dived over Sydney, and I've dived over New Zealand, I've dived over San Diego. I was training to get my license, but I never did that. Paragliding must be really good, because the thing I most enjoyed about skydiving was when I got to fly myself. That was really, really good. And then to give this whole CV about anything to do with adventure sports like paragliding. No. Short, bite-sized pieces. Exactly. So relate to what women said and how women should talk about themselves. And how men should talk about themselves. Just keep it very brief. Again, so much of my content comes down to getting you the hottest girls. And what so many guys do, they think it's this 50-50 exchange where it's like TESS talks about surfing, I talk about my surfing or basketball or something, or TESS talks about her favorite books, I talk about my favorite books. No, TESS does the smaller percentage of time you do talking, the quicker you get sex, the better the sex is, the less chance you won't get sex, the more chance you got of getting a second date. the higher quality women you'll get. So you got to aim for the smallest percentage within reason, like 25% or even less than that, with a lot of the beautiful girls. So yeah, so much of seducing women, attracting women, is just provoking them to talk about the stuff that makes their heart sing as much as you possibly can. And in all my YouTube research, I haven't found anyone who's talking about this. It's like, no, you got to do this, you got to do this. Even some of the people who make like content on social skills, it's like, I don't know. Anyway, I should shut up. So yeah, so what do we do? You try to get her to talk about stuff you're interested in. You try to encourage her to talk as much as humanly possible. And you just share about yourself in bite-sized pieces. Then you just add in touch, eye contact, body language, date planning, reading signals, and hopefully sticking it in there at some point if you do all that correctly, which is a big part of the secret. Great question. Okie dokie. We mentioned going on a date with the lovely Tess. It's going to quickly fly through what that looks like. What have I done wrong? Okie dokie. We've got to change to the different one. Yep, we're going to change the different one. And then I think keep the pretty girl on top because I'm kind of ugly. Not many of you guys watching want to bang me. Tess is probably a different story. So what have I done wrong? Anyway, this is your wonderful pro dating coach, better than anyone on YouTube, I reckon. And yeah, she's the boss of all these girls, and she's, along with me, the star of these live events we do. And yeah, that's what your day can look like tomorrow. Oh, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and we'll do many more of these, and we'll cut them all up into shorts, which will be super valuable for you. So Tony Robbins, someone who's helped me a lot. He's screwed this one up. Tony Robbins, he made this comment that I thought was good. So what you're going to do is you go on a date, and she'll give you feedback about everything you're doing right, everything you're doing wrong, and what you need to do to improve. The big goal is to identify the key mistakes you're making with women, and we'll get a list of 10 or 15 of them, and then figure out what are the top 3, what's the number 1, what's really going to move the needle for you, and then we'll help you with that. We'll give you, openers and conversations, things, and date planning ideas that we usually only give to our paid clients. And yeah, literally, I guarantee you, it'll be the most valuable 45 minutes of your life when it comes to dating, if you do an even half-assed job of implementing number 1, let alone number 2. The guy's like, yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy just to scammy salesman. It's not. It really is that easy. Getting better with, I shouldn't say easy. It's just so simple. Just fix 1 or 2 things. You'll fly past every other guy in nearly all the Western countries, including Western Europe these days. So this could be you tomorrow. I should swap that photo to Tess, not Natalia, but this is what your day could look like tomorrow. Literally on the website, this is $1,500 nearly. But if you book it tomorrow, we'll have a quick chat to you, then we'll get $29 off you, and you'll get the full kit and caboodle, proper date, proper plan, practice your approaching, ask any quick questions you've got. You'll get the full thing as if you are actually one of our clients, or you've actually paid the $1,500 on the website. If you're an Australian, I'd hurry up because we had 2 Americans and a South African fly to the last event. And we're getting quite a few views from Australia, and we're getting a surprising number of sales from a very small number of views. So not $1,500, just $1 tomorrow. And yeah, for you people in the replay, just if I haven't screwed up, which I do sometimes, there should be a link in the chat. Next one is, what's the date? I have to give you the date later. Anyway, I think it's April, early April 12 or something. If anyone wants to know the date, just ask us. If anyone's doing these or done some, if you could say anything nice about Tess and I, we would love you. I've screwed everything up somehow, as I often like to do. There we go. So thank you, Tess. Beautiful woman does tech support as well. So what was our next little pointy? The job interview frame. It looks like this dope's screwed the numbers up. No, okay. The job interview frame. Okay, this is one of my biggest secrets. One of my biggest secrets, I reckon. I had, I suppose, a certain dating coach called James, who's got like 100 times more subscribers than me. Yeah, he was sitting asking us, like, how does this old, weird, at that stage, badly dressed guy just get all these girls? Because I was lucky enough to sleep with a former model at a law degree, com degree in his bedroom. And I didn't really know the answer at the time. It was just, I don't know, it was whatever. But I think part of the reason I've had the luck with women I have is because I'm a wee bit fussy. So I've got a lot of sort of screening questions. So traveling is the most fun thing in the world. Maybe be in love might tiny bit. Sex with someone you're madly in love with might beat it a tiny bit. But threesomes with all these girls doesn't really hold a candle in my eyes compared to just walking into some buttfuck city where you don't know anyone and just seeing what the next week will look like. So yeah, so what I do, because I really value my time, is if I meet a pretty girl, I'm immediately asking her certain questions. And the one I personally ask, not you, this is me. You don't, if you get trained, we'll give you questions like this for you. So I just ask questions like, oh, so tell me about the last great book you read. And if the girly whirly doesn't have a good answer for that, and her name's not Taylor Swift, which would be great marketing for my business if I could date Taylor Swift, don't think that's going to happen, especially given I'm not in America. And I don't think her PR people wouldn't like that. I don't think she'd be attracted to me. Yeah, so unless the girl has some value to me, I'm just probably not really ever going to date a girl who hasn't read a lot, especially at this age. But the fact that I'm asking this, and then women are much better at reading body language than men, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, I've gone up to really beautiful girls and just toddled off after I didn't get the answer I wanted then. Whereas girls that, I might regard as like a 7.5, who are very well read, I may well take them to bed and spend some time with them. Whereas these days, a girl who's potentially a 9.5, who's not really doing it for me. I mean, now I wouldn't even bother. Even in my late 40s, I don't even bother, unless there's some commercial benefit from it. Yeah, silly me. I used to work in finance. I tried to make a lot of money to get girls. Now I work as a dating coach. Now for many years, I tried to get girls to make money. So I kind of sort of screwed things up. I went too far in each direction. Yeah. So anyway, I'm crapping on enough. So yeah, you just got to, she's hot. Hot girls don't want to be known. They don't want to be slept with for being hot unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio or someone. Or Errol Flynn back in the day. So Tess, talk about what it's like to have a guy who doesn't really know much about you, who hasn't really found out much about you, who's determined to get you on a date and possibly stick something in one of your orifices.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, James definitely has a point that, when a guy's just clearly enthralled by your beauty or something really superficial, and they basically just, everything you say, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, wow. Yeah, I like, just rewarding you for every little thing. And yeah, and it's clear that they're just like a puppy dog who will do anything to get more of your attention. It's really needy, and it also it makes them seem less desirable as well, because they're like, okay, wow, this is like the most exciting thing that's ever happened to this guy. It's not like he's spoiled for choice with women, right? So yeah, when you are asking questions that show actually I have I can be selective with women, because I can be with whoever I want, and are you gonna live up to my expectations? Or I mean, are you going to fit the criteria that I'm looking for? Then it actually makes her want to do that, because she's like, oh wow, okay, this guy has standards. He's clearly, he wouldn't be able to be selective with women unless he was a high quality person. So yes, I want to try and impress him. And yeah, it's again, you're just adding to that allure. It's about playing that game a little bit.
Thanks, Tess. The last guy touched on a really good point with his question. You don't just sit and ask her questions. You do for a while. You listen very well. But then if I ask, so tell me about the last great book you read, and she says something slightly literature-y, I might say, oh, I just reread 1984. So I actually share a bite-sized piece about my preferences, or yeah, I've said to some girls, Tolstoy is like one of my 3 or 4 favorite human beings of all time. So yeah, you want to give her license to talk about the stuff. Like if Tess had done paragliding, I'd quickly share. Oh, I've skydived a bunch of times. I've bungeed. I've whatever. I've hang glidden, if that's the correct term. So I'd give her license to talk about what she's really passionate about. So yeah, I just can't highlight how powerful that is. And again, I see pickup artist teaching qualification or whatever they call it, where, you know, she works at a hotel. This is a quote from a famous guy. She works as some sort of cleaner at a hotel. Yeah, pickup artists, they couldn't give a shit about anything about a girl as long as she's not toxic and she's hot. That's their only metric, even if the hot's been augmented by some clever surgeon. So anyway, girl who works at a hotel. And I mean, one of the examples of how you qualify her is, oh, you must make a really good bed. So yeah, I keep it genuine. They just come up with something to say to pretend like you're interested in her because she makes a really good bed. The women's libbers would be really happy with that little remark, wouldn't they? The feminist movement. Why do you like women? Because they can make a good bed for you and keep them barefoot and pregnant and get them as silly as possible so they don't cause any problems. So yeah, I mentioned these anecdotes on a boot camp, probably a boot camp, where Nevena, Aussie swimsuit model with about 100,000 Instagram followers, and Jackie has done quite a bit of lingerie modeling. They've both made really good money from TVCs. Well, I can't remember the story I told at the time, but I told this story, and Nevena just came out and said, oh yeah, if you did that to me, I'd follow you around all night too. Because it just completely screws with their mind. If a girl's considered in the top 1 or 2%, or let alone 0.5% of most attractive women, and some guy goes like, oh, so tell me the last great book you read, and she says, oh, I don't really read much. I'm too busy. I'm like, oh, okay. I just sort of feel deflated and like, oh, what did I bother talking to you for? She's like, how? What? You're not giving me a chance? You're going to reject me? And then they just hunt you down like a vengeance. I might have used that to my favor once or twice or 3 times or more than that. And I've shared before, like if I went to bars to meet someone special, which I'd never do in my age. I'd never do this sort of approaches, which I teach my clients because it's important. When a girl I'm interested in, I just look at girls I'm potentially interested in, and when they walk past, I just jump out and go, hey, how you doing? And then oftentimes I've just said, tell me about the greatest book you read. And they're like, what do you read books? And then some of them gave me a book and I ended up sleeping with them. One of the most memorable ones was Shantaram by David Roberts, after this girl blew me out in a really hard way. Yeah, again, for me, I'm sharing me. You got to make up your own thing. Books, travel is number 2. It'd be hard to date a girl who hadn't traveled a bit because she just would not understand me for the life of her. I tend to date women, the great women in my life have read dramatic amounts more than me in 1 or 2 cases before they got their driver's license. 2 of the girls, or one of the girl I dated made the surgeon, I probably shouldn't say it on YouTube, the IQ gap, the interest gap between this girl I dated from a certain country where they talk like, anyway, and the surgeon. It was honestly like I had started dating my dog or something. There's just the difference in their brain capacity was just so vast because she'd read so much literature and very privileged family. So yeah, geopolitics. I probably shouldn't say this on YouTube, but certainly the hottest girl I talked to in 2025. Facially, maybe the hottest girl the hottest girl I saw. She had a face like an angel, like considerably better than any female coach I've ever hired, except maybe Taylor, on par with Taylor. Yeah, she said something about geopolitics, about Putin and Trump. And I just rolled my eyes and sort of gave up, which is really bad. I wouldn't have done that in my late 40s. So yeah, but the fact that I did, as sort of, she said this dumb thing, and I just sort of lost energy and stopped trying to, the conversation with her, because there's other people involved in the conversation. I sort of went away and did something, and she just follows me around the whole time. It's like, how the hell? I said something he didn't agree with about geopolitics, and this guy just, I can't be bothered with this. Yeah, it's like, again, James Marshall asked me, how do you get these results? And I didn't really know the answer, but I think that could be quite a considerable part of it. And yeah, she ticked a lot of boxes, that girl too. She was a serious yogi. She'd traveled a lot in India. She'd been to well over 50 countries. She'd been a model. She was Dutch Colombian too. She was really like, wow. I should probably edit this from the replay. I sound like a wanker. No, I don't. I try not to wank. Anyway, more on the subject of wanking, I had an very abusive childhood. And my mum used to scream at me like I was doing the worst thing possible if I ever touched my penis in front of her. So I'm not a big fan of masturbating. It makes me feel kind of disgusting, which as an adult probably was a big favor, because I hate masturbating. So I'm far more driven to go find someone to do it for me, particularly with a vagina. And I've never really been that into porn. Yeah. But yeah, back in my virgin days, I did stick 1 or 2 or 5 or 20 magazines together when things were just getting a bit, I can't focus on work because my balls are getting too heavy. A bit more information you need on YouTube. Tess, do you want to add anything to job interview frame?
Sorry, guys. I just muted myself for a second. I had some background noise. Yeah, I think you've covered this one pretty well, James. And yeah, remember, guys, also, you know, if you're, there's definitely a line. Like, if you're going to be going up to a woman and just asking her a question, then going like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, she might be like, oh, what? And follow you. But if you haven't actually taken the time to kind of impress her in some way before that, she might also just think, okay, well, yeah, go away. Like, I'm not going to bother with you either if you're just going to, because it's like, it can be a bit standoffish. So there is like, you know, there's a bit of rapport building, or even like if you can build some sort of sexual tension, or, you know, if you're presenting yourself really well so that there's some reason why she would actually want to pursue you, more than just, you know, her trying to prove herself to you. Because, yeah, again, if you've, yeah, if she doesn't like something else about you, you haven't created some sort of allure, then that question in itself probably won't do it on its own. So yeah, but so yeah, I think that you know, making a strong first impression, and then using your you know, some of your questions to show your selectivity. I think that's probably the way to go.
Thanks. Tess has really pulled me up on something. In some other notes, I cut and pasted this. I made points about how this one was advanced, this one was whatever, blah, blah, blah. So let me just go through a bit of a review for you. 6 p.m. Simp text rule, that's not advanced. Particularly if you're kind of busy guy, do not be texting girls back in the middle of the day when you're meant to be working. Even on the weekend, don't do this manipulatively. ignore the temptation to just look at her text and see what's going on, because very few guys are going to manipulate women. Whatever, I can if I want, but it comes back to bite me, and it's not a good long-term strategy. Unless you get some really manipulative girl you just want to play with her for fun, which I might have done once or twice in my life. If anyone wants to know when I got girls who tested me and screwed me around too much, how I got them back, ask me that question and I'll share. It might not be popular. It might make me seem like a bit of a twat, a dick. Okay, early exit strategy. No, that's for everyone. Don't let dates go on and on and on and on and on and on, hoping that the lips will somehow wrap around your penis if you just wait long enough. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm just going to mention my BMW one more time and she'll be mine. Or at least I'll get my first blowjob in 18 months. So that's the next one. In like Flynn secret, that's all very well for someone who's made most of their money in public speaking or doing essentially sales work, who's traveled to 103 countries. That's all very well for me to say. But yeah, it's not that easy when you, like if I got in a fight now, I wouldn't be, I'm relaxed, I can handle this. So yeah, take that in context. And then finally, the job interview frame. That's pretty good. But my example of just running out in front of a hot girl at a bar and just saying, hey, how you doing? And go, and pretty much start the conversation with, tell me the last great book you read. That's probably for my much more successful clients. I should have probably, that's not a good example. Leading with stuff that you're interested in talking about, that's a very good example. Okie dokie. What if we do the crappy AI advice? Okay, we're introducing a new section to the Tess and James YouTube Live with Social Coach. And the section is, okay. These buttons are so confusing to an old man like me. Tess, can you get the buttons right for me? We'll get the pretty girl on top. Okay, now what's he done? He's a silly old twat, this one. No, it's before. That wasn't... Okie dokie, here we are. Is this... for you Americans... Shithouse is an Aussie term for
bad.
Not very useful. Okay. For our regular viewers, I said last week, I asked all the AIs for their advice. One of them was absolutely effing awful. One was effing awful. And the other one made a couple of good points. My brain just figured out that the reason the one that wasn't completely awful did okay is because it had been looking at my chat history and the stuff I'd asked for help with, and it basically just copied me in a few points. So I went back and I said, answer this prompt as if I'm just new to you. So let's go through this. I haven't spent too much time on this. I think it's a really valuable. Oh, Tess, do you know how to make up a banner called "Don't Ever Do This"? And we can put that on the screen. Yeah. That's a good innovation I've come up with, because people have just flown away since I put this screen up. Anyway, this is probably some of the most valuable stuff. This is stuff you're being told about. Shithouse dating advice in terms of psychological hacks to attract younger women. Slow validation technique. Validate her slowly. Compliment sparingly. No. Find stuff that's genuine and compliment the shit out of her. Thank you so much, Tess. Especially if they're younger and hotter than you deserve. So do not hold back on compliments. Hold back a lot on physical compliments, but compliments is a huge part of what I do, as long as they're honest. So crappy dating advice, that's a 9.5 out of 10 piece of crappy dating advice. Tess, what do you think? It could be like a movie show. What did you think of the direction on this? So what do you think about crappy dating advice?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you, James. I think that validating her is actually quite important early on, because if you get a woman, if you're giving her positive reinforcement around what she's talking about, she's going to enjoy talking about that more, and she's going to open up to you way more. She's going to be enjoying that experience more, and you're going to be building rapport easily, right? She's not going to be trying to reject you and run away straight away, right? So that's actually quite important early on. But again, obviously you don't want to be being fake and lying and just saying, "Oh, I think that's so cool and amazing and interesting," to things that are not interesting to you whatsoever. Um, but I think, yeah, by asking her engaging questions about things that, yeah, you might not be that interested in, but if it's something that she wants to talk about, one of her passions or her big interests, just asking engaging questions will show that you're interested anyway. So yeah, validation, yeah, it's important for easy rapport building early on.
That's great. That's excellent. It was good we threw to TESS on that. Okay, showcase maturity edge, highlight life experience without bragging, share stories that position you as stable and wise, contrasting immature peers. That's good. That's probably like a 3 out of 10, but it needs some context. I have screwed up with women I really wanted simply because I was older than them. I'd had, particularly with travel, a huge amount of experience, or that really successful friends, in some cases clients. So when I shared too much of that, the girl thought, well, he's 20 years older than me. He's lived this incredible life. I don't really feel valued other than a warm, wet hole that he wants access to. So I've actually put notes to not do so much of that. But generally, that's not too bad an example. Yeah, that's not terrible. But you don't want to intimidate her. And again, you want to get her doing the majority of the talking. I might just go through 3 quickly, and then we'll get TESS to go through. So you feel free to take any notes if there's anything you really want to cover. I'm going to go as quick as I can. Use negation principle. Say we can't, shouldn't, to spark forbidden fruit allure, triggering her rebellious side for an age gap excitement. This is terrible advice. This is shocking advice for the average guy searching on YouTube. The reason is, if Russell Brand did this, or maybe me when I was really promiscuous, even then I don't know if I could pull it off. If Russell Brand did this, killer. If the average guy we coach, or the average 95% of American, Australian, Western European men did this, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. So do not do that. Do not try to play games and outsmart and out-manipulate women, because most of you can't. If you're watching dating videos on YouTube, sorry, that's not your game. And unfortunately, that's what all these pickup artists put into the world. So please don't do that. That's really stupid. If you've slept with 100 girls already, you might be able to pull that off. But if you've slept with 100 girls already, if you just build rapport and escalate physically, it's probably going to work better than that. Terrible. What they do is the little browsy things that the AI has that browses the web, they don't really know what sites, so they don't know who to push. They're not pushing social coach advice, so they push the people with the biggest channels, which is often just neo pickup artist without as much misogyny. It's the same techniques as original Mystery Method and David D'Angelo. Flirt with hands, use expressive gestures while talking. It draws eye. I don't agree with that at all on a date. It might have some validity at a party or a bar where you want to get attention, but it's a bit girly. You want to be the king. People with high vocabularies, high IQs, and a lot of women say the number one thing they want from a man is a high IQ. You don't need to gesticulate constantly to express yourself, because you've got a brain and you've got a vocabulary. The cliche is some Greek guy who my Greek accent is non-existent. What's a Italian? He doesn't speak much English, so he's struggling to chat in a second language. He's like slapping people on the next table with all his gesticulation. He doesn't speak that language that well. The great philosophers were Greek. I'm not saying anything negative about the Greek people, so let's just get that straight. They're the foundation of modern wisdom came from the Greeks. So I'm not committing hate speech against Greek people because they talk with their hands a lot. So what else is there? Scent strategy, use cologne. It blocks your natural immune marker scent. Insane. High margin product. It's not very good for you. Tess, you just want to run through the highlights of that and just say what your thoughts are? Take as much time as you want.
Yeah, so I spoke about the slow validation technique, the showcase maturity edge. I think it's obviously, you want to be able to highlight your strengths, which is good. But definitely without bragging, anytime. And I think that also contrasting to immature peers is pushing it a bit too much. It's kind of, if you're overtly trying to prove yourself, it comes across like you're you've got something to prove, right? So obviously you want to be highlighting your strengths, your stability and your wisdom, and your experiences, but in a very understated way that kind of share in bite-sized pieces where it kind of creates that intrigue where you're inviting her to just engage with that further and ask you more questions, rather than like comparing yourself to other people, that sort of thing. I think making comparisons to people who are lesser than you is just poor form in general. Okay, and number 3, use the negation principle. Say we can't. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I think, trigger her rebellious side. I completely agree with James. Like if you're Russell Brand, if you've sort of built really, really strong sexual allure before you do that stuff, that could work. She already wants you, but this is not going to work for actually building initial attraction. Don't do that. Flirt with the hands. Again, this is the thing. If you're being overly expressive with your gestures, it can make you just seem like you're trying too hard to be like, oh wow, I'm so excited, blah blah blah. It kind of takes away from you being sexy, sophisticated, and confident if you're doing that too much. And the scent strategy, oh my God, this is terrible. This is my least favorite out of all of these. Signature cologne, gross. Especially if it lingers, disgusting. A lot of perfumes, colognes, fragrances, they're just full of chemicals. And they mask your natural immune markers, your pheromones, which attract women. They it's so risky. It's so risky that the woman actually going to like this scent? Women have really strong senses of smell, and we're really picky as well about smells. So if your cologne is something that we don't like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much we like you as a person. It's not going to make us like the cologne. So just the best scent is just to be clean. Just to be clean. That's all. You don't need to worry about colognes at all. Just a waste of money and time.
People are running away in droves, so this probably wasn't the best move. I might just fly through this. Positive aura hack, stay upbeat and optimistic, young women. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. That's a 1 out of 10 bad advice. Natural draw approach. Avoid chasing. Let attraction build organically by being authentic. If you want a hot girl, you're probably going to have to chase at some point. You've also got to learn how to get her to chase you. So that's probably nonsense as well. Men have to chase. Every mammal basically chases. the male chases the woman. So you need to chase intelligently, but that's nonsensical as well. Emotional maturity pool, offer depth in conversations. Younger women seek security and understanding, lucky and same age guys. That's really good, again, but make sure you don't do too much of the talking. Forbidden flirt tactic, play up the age differences, taboo fun, light teasing to heighten chemistry without insecurity. I like this up till I said light teasing. That's assuming the average American guy who works as an engineer or has a nice business actually knows how to tease. And a great Australian tennis player turned commentator, never do more than you need to win the point. If a girl goes on a date with you, she's probably thinking about sleeping with you. She probably used a bit of wax down there before the date, which probably isn't the nicest thing. I've actually given it a try. So a woman goes, "You should see what we go through to look good at you getting waxed." I said, "I've done that once, honey, just so you girls can't throw that at me." Yeah, getting scrotum waxed is quite an interesting experience in life. I recommend you do it once. So women, Tess is rolling her eyes at this. Especially if the guy who does it is this beautiful, handsome Portuguese male model type. I'm like, who thought I was going to be one of his conquests. So I went to the wrong waxing place, but he had lots of good reviews on Google. So yeah, I wasn't going back there. While we're talking about scrotums, has anyone ever had a bed bug bite in the middle of their scrotum? It's not a pleasant experience. It's not a pleasant experience at all. I'm suffering from that at the moment. And again, back to Tess's chemicals. I got me undies that I sleep in or wear a bit. I got them washed, and I said, little detergent, little detergent, little detergent, and they didn't use a little detergent I asked. So I put me undies on with detergent, and me little bed bug in the middle of me scrotum started to burn and burn and burn and burn. So yeah, so be careful with freshly washed undies if you've got bed bugs in your scrotums. There's a bit of cutting edge dating advice for you guys for tuning into our live. Probably we'll watch the view time plummet when I say this. Play up the age difference to be fun. You can do it sensibly. I'll get to that point in a second. But yeah, light teasing. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Value demonstration. Focus on your established career. No. I'm an engineer. I run 20 other people, and they gave me a promotion and a pay rise, and I got my first 5 series. And you know, I mean, if you're going to do that, do it very, very sensibly. Again, this is just plagiarizing the early pickup artists to make her obsessed with the upgrade you represent. Yeah, you do that by good questions and sharing about yourself in bite-sized pieces, not by telling stories, long stories trying to get her attracted. Tess, did you want to touch on any of that quickly? Mission critical, because people aren't enjoying this.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I think James has covered that pretty well. Yeah, some of these, there is some value in a few of these things. No, I think you've covered it, James. I don't need to add to this.
Okay. So we're going to have to keep, I think this is really, really valuable, but you guys don't like it because maybe I'm not selling it well enough. Okay. So get rid of the slides. Yeah. Thank you. Model and save this idiot with tech guy. Okay. Let's get the next one up. Okay. That noise has annoyed the hell out of me. Let me see. When you go on a date with a pretty girl, you got to be as tight as a Scotsman from Glasgow. I tell you that. I got me wee trick I use on all the models. The American Scotsman there. Tess, what have you done? You can't hear you.
Sorry about that, James. That was my mistake. Go ahead.
Okay. You didn't like my Glasgow accent. Anyway, I got this wee trick I use on the models where we go on a first date, especially when I was living in Bondi Beach. You had a good date plan, and I'd ask him what sort of tea they liked, and we'd usually do I'd bring 2. Anyway, shut up. You're probably turning off in grows. I'd literally bring 2 takeaway cups. I got from Woolworths for $10, and I'd have tea bags, and then there was more than 1 or 2 instances where I went to a cafe afterwards and I asked the girl to pay for the tea because I got the first one. This is super advanced. I probably shouldn't even put it in. And the look on their faces, it's like these girls get taken out in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and helicopters and one or two cases jets and stuff. And like, this guy's expecting them to pay for a cup of tea because he got the first one, which he brought from his house. I've completely separated myself from every other guy they've dated in their lifetime, in the last 3 lifetimes. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I opened this in a very bad way. But what I do suggest you do is don't spend much money on a date. Don't take them to expensive dinners. Don't show them how rich you are. Try not even pick them up in a German car. Just keep date spending to a minimum. It's a killer. I'm using it as a hack where I just go completely opposite everyone else. When what's his name, Sam Bankman found out whatever crypto looked like a scam. I was like telling all my friends, this is the investment opportunity of a lifetime. When COVID happened, this is the investment opportunity of a lifetime. So you do the counterintuitive thing. When everyone's screaming sell, you buy. When everyone's screaming buy, you sell. It's exactly the same with hot girls. What all the other rich losers who chase the hottest girls do the opposite. Do the opposite. Do the opposite. It's worked so well for me. Again, this is advanced. I've put my little brackets around my notes here. It's advanced, but yeah, do a watered down version of it where it comes back to getting TESS to do a date plan for you. Just get a date plan where you don't need to spend much money, but still fun and interesting and exciting. Wow, we lost a whole bunch of people with the bad dating advice. I screwed that one up. It was really popular last time. I'm not sure why. Maybe the font on the screen was too small. If any of our regulars have any feedback about that, please let us know. We might take questions before we do any more of the content because we don't want to be hammered at the end. Yeah,
if you guys have any questions at all about any of the points we've spoken about tonight, spending money on dates. Any comments or questions? There was a question from Simon who says, just to clarify, do you recommend not to wear any cologne at all? Yes, that is what I recommend. Yes, do not wear any cologne at all. It's just so risky. Women are really selective about what they like and what they don't like. If you smell clean, she's going to like it. Okay. She's not going to be like, oh, damn, I wish I was wearing cologne. If you wear a cologne that she doesn't like, she'll be like, oh God, I can't even listen to what he's saying. I don't like that smell. Just again, and yeah, you don't want to mask your natural pheromones, your immune markers. So no cologne, just don't wear cologne. Just be clean.
Well, on that subject, I got a jug of ice delivered to me before this. And the jug must have been hand washed, and I can taste dishwashing liquid on it, and I can't drink it anymore. So I've transferred jugs already. It's like revolting for me. So yeah, you will so often be like that on a date. I've talked about this extensively. When you see a woman who's much older, the age of 22 or 25, who you still regard as really hot, there's an extremely high chance she's a bit of a health freak. There's only so much. Like we're very, very, very lucky. Apart from a bit of excess fat, excess skin around my stomach, if I started playing basketball all the time, I wouldn't have that much body fat. I'm not at the moment. I do have a bit. Women aren't that lucky. For a girl to be attractive, like stereotypically attractive, she's got to be very, very concerned about health, and part of health is avoiding chemicals. So yeah, I really don't think cologne's doing you any favor with what the Americans call trailer park trash, or I don't know what the term is. Australians call bogans, and the English call them chavs, or maybe not those English, the northerner Englishes, which I can't really do very well. Maybe with those girls, if that's your cup of tea, that might work well. But I think for most of the attractive girls, they're somewhat concerned about health, just no cologne. Next question.
Yeah, we don't have any other questions at the moment. So yeah, guys, click your questions through. We're here to help you. Anything about the content tonight, or anything about your sticking points in general with women, we're here to help you. So we're here to answer all your questions, give you as much value as we possibly can. Yeah, so flick them through. We're going to be referring to those throughout the night. And should we go to our number?
Now we're getting close to the 5 at the moment. So questions about the 6 p.m. Simp text rule. Don't text girls back during the week before 6 p.m. You want to make it like, you know, if you're retired, I don't know, if you come up with another thing, you want to make it like you're this busy, successful guy with a lot going on in his life. You're going to be this, oh, girl texted me. It's the one. Ask your questions about that. Number 2 is the early exit strategy. Unless you've got a proper date plan set up where you're pitching to turn this into a bedroom date, go back to bedroom date, do not let it drag on for much more than 90 minutes, 2 hours max. Most of you guys watching this YouTube live, most of my clients who've done boot camps, you're not going to be charismatic for 2 hours. If you're asking really good questions and she's doing 80% of the talking, you can probably extend those rules, but that's not the average guy when he starts working with TESS. Ask us questions about this. You guys, you know, you're nervous, you've got approach anxiety, you know, you sometimes get a date and then she doesn't come back, or she excuses herself. You're worried you're too old, you're too gray, you're too fat. You don't necessarily have the money that you think the guys on Instagram with Ferraris and Lamborghinis have. Yeah, just what's holding you back? What are you worried about? What are your sticking points? Tess and I'm in this essentially 20 years. Tess is my best coach ever. We can really help change your life. In like Flynn, be relaxed. Be relaxed on a date. No one's asked, well, you know, I haven't got laid since the 2008 financial crisis. Sorry, I'm ex-finance. I'm a bit nervous even talking to a very average looking woman. How do I be relaxed on a date? Why hasn't anyone asked that question? Please ask questions. And then the job interview frame, which is, don't just go, okay, she's beautiful and she's 10 years or 20 years younger than me. I'm going to do anything I possibly can to get this girl into bed. Say anything, do anything, buy anything, wear anything. Yeah, don't be that guy. And a lot of our successful clients are. So find out what she's got that's of interest to you, and then show a lot more interest and change your body language when you make that happen. And cheap date secret. I've probably exaggerated to an advanced scale with some of my stories, but yeah, don't spend much on dates. It creates this uncomfortable sense of obligation. It makes you look like you're desperate. And it often means you're doing the wrong things to have a really exciting date ever. I've seen, you know, I don't spend much time on Instagram, but I just really click on dating content. I've seen guys interviewing women on the street, like hot Polish girls saying, don't spend much money on me on date. That's probably Borat. Doesn't sound like a Polish girl, but that's my best effort. So yeah, don't spend much money on dates. Have a good date plan. Give us your questions, give us your sticking points, give us your roadblocks, give us your hesitations. Tell us about how you think your penis is too small, or your head's too bald, or your hair's too gray, and let us help you get around that. That's what we're here for. We have to start giving less good content and more questions. Okie dokie, questions. There's such a lag. This is such a valuable experience. Is Luchor still here? We've really trained guys not to ask questions. That must be on me. Actually, that's a great point. That's not true at all. I've found the best dates I've had was rollerblading. That's a great idea. Now, unfortunately, I could push back on that a little bit. You're assuming the girl can roll. Don't stop doing this if you've had success out of it on my account. So don't stop that. But yeah, you're assuming the girl can rollerblade, which you want to be careful with. And if she hasn't and she really likes you, she might actually flake on you on the date just because she doesn't want to rollerblade. So everyone, this is, and for you guys watching the replay, put the questions in the comments. Put the questions in the comments, because this guy has had some success. This is one of our students, so he knows a lot more than the average YouTube guy. This guy's had a lot of success rollerblading, which might have worked with the girls he got, but if he'd had the sort of sample size of dates I have, studying my clients for 20 years, studying thousands of clients for 20 years, he might realize that a rollerblading date is a really bad idea. I'm not putting him down at all. It's a great question. It's great. He's had good experience out of it. But yeah, a girl who hasn't rollerbladed might stand him up because she's scared of rollerblading in public. Tess, just talk quickly about, no, we might get back to content because guys like the content, but the best content is the questions, at least in the replay. Tess, we should just give an example of where a guy's asked you out on a date and you liked him, but you were hesitant because of the nature of the date. Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the bat. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine going on a date if a guy was like, "Hey, let's go rollerblading," and it's not something that I am into or have tried before. I would be really nervous, about making a fool of myself. But yeah, also, when you're kind of too focused on an activity, and even if it is her first time and she's learning, it takes away from your ability to actually just connect with her and have valuable conversation, to get to know her, build that connection, etc. Because you're just doing an activity together. It's too focused on the activity and not on the building that actual connection, right? So it makes it a little bit challenging for you as well. And yeah, I don't know, maybe she had heaps of fun and she's like, "Oh, that was a really fun date." But I don't know anything about the guy because we were just doing the thing. So so I don't know. It's a little bit risky as to whether she'd want to continue seeing you. This might be something that you do, I think, down the track would probably be a bit stronger. Early on, you really want to focus on actually getting to know her, building that rapport, building sexual tension, creating that allure to keep her coming back for more.
Yeah, I might have gone ice skating. There's a thing in Bondi Beach called ice skating by the beach or something. With two of the girls I was sort of having in my bed at one time. And yeah, let's just say they got a really, 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 really good laugh out of me. And yeah, I don't know if I'd have pulled that off for a first date. So and again, women are, I'm not really insecure at all, but women are very, very insecure. So they don't look like a fool. They don't want to injure themselves. A lot of girls are a bit paranoid about getting a major bruise or scar on their knee because that'll be with them for the rest of the time. Swimsuit model Nevena, she's got like quite a juicy scar on her inner thigh when a glass fell on her in the States. So anyway, you didn't need to know that. I thought it'd be useful. So yeah, great question. Please shoot the questions through. We've got last comment, or like we'll have a very early dinner. Social proof blueprint. You want to engineer social proof in. One of the advantages to being an older guy is you've done more in your life. Hopefully, a lot of our clients are somewhat successful. Hopefully, you might have successful friends. You got a lot more intelligence. A lot of you had a lot more experience in dating with a young guy. So one of my huge tricks when I was very promiscuous and often with girls way more attractive than I should have ever got was I tried to do things like there was one girl who was a Ford model. And when I met her, I was hanging out with a guy who was a male model himself, one of the prominent models. Another time, I met a girl who modeled for Elite, and that's like one of the world's biggest modeling companies. And when I met her, I was on a boot camp here. By chance, I was with this absurdly charismatic guy, ugly, but absurdly charismatic, who was a drummer who I think taught philosophy at Michigan Uni, whatever the prestigious college in Michigan's called. And I was also with a guy who'd worked in finance, then left because he got sick of it. And yeah, I was with all these really impressive guys, often way older than the whatever the 22, 23-year-olds I was dating. And the fact that, like, oh, this is my friend. I mean, in one case, I introduced a model, or I'd already been sleeping with her for like 5 weeks, to a guy who founded a very famous tech company who was a client who was also a very good friend. So yeah, use whatever friends you've got to try to build attraction. For anyone who's still on, I don't know if LaTure's still on or Simon, who've actually done the dates and feedback with TESS. Yeah, just use the skills that we taught you to approach, get dates, get sex, get relationships with women. Use these skills to seduce men. And when I say seduce men, I mean to help you with social proof. So a trick I used superbly well in many parts of the world is there was a cafe in Lower East Side Manhattan that was full of people with nose rings, and their ear was like stretched out like that with rings, and all these t-shirts, and like hipsters, and everyone was writing a screenplay or in a rock band or something, or they're a poet. And I'm this sort of weird, low-grade, pathetic yuppie who traveled a lot. And I made friends with all these guys. I tipped them in some cases, and I'd walk into the cafe with a girl or without a girl. They go, "Hey, James, how you doing, man? How's it doing?" At the time I was in acting school. They go, and I'm doing boot camps. They go, "Hey, how's acting school going?" And it's like I walk into this cafe and look like they're my close friends. So I walk in with a girl who's much younger than me and much hotter than I ever deserved, particularly when I was in Manhattan, hanging around Soho and Lower East Side, Union Square. And like they're just like, the people in the cafe just love him. So you definitely want to have a date plan, which TESS and my female coaches can help you with, that factors in social proof. That's one of the big things we do for people. This is back when I was really promiscuous, when I unfortunately screwed up with the love of my life and dumped her, regretted it savagely and couldn't get her back. And I just had to go philandering to somehow get the pain out of every cell in my body. And I was in Koh Phangan in Thailand, and this was some of the most promiscuous I've been in my life, like just 5 girls in a short period of time. And I'm not doing one-night stands. I tend to just get what girls I like, I'm legitimately interested in, and just keep them on the go at once. Eventually let go of the ones who aren't as interesting or good in bed. I don't know how good a Thai accent I have. How do I get into Thai accent? I do you so good, mister. Special price for you. The Thai waitress at place I stay go, "You very bad man. You very bad man. You bring home Thai girl. You bring home South African girl. You bring home Israeli girl. You bring home 2 Swedish girl. What was wrong with Thai girl?" And like they're saying this to me in the morning. And then not when the girls were there, but then I'm having breakfast with a girl in this place. Often I've been with her for the first night. They go, "He's very bad man. He's very bad man. You look out for him." And it's because the Thai waitresses, who some of them were quite attractive, they were attracted to me. They'd seen all the girls I was with, and like I don't know what she thought she was doing. She thought she was being funny, but she was helping me massively. It's like, this guy's crazy good. So that, again, this is a very advanced example, but you want to factor social proof into your date plan. If you've got any attractive female friends you work with, or your sister or your sister's friends, or maybe a friend of your ex-girl, or one of your close male friends, a good friend of hers, if there's any way you can use them to get the girls, "Oh, wow, this guy's had attractive girls around him before." When you get a bit advanced, this can backfire on you, because say I use TESS as clickbait to get a bunch of women to talk to me at a bar or a party or something. What's happened to me many times, why this is maybe a good beginner strategy, particularly if you're not that attractive, but maybe not a good, more advanced strategy, is I've had girls where I've been with them for some reason, they're like, "Why aren't you with Tess? She's really pretty. She's really pretty. And you guys have such a great connection." I'm like, yeah. And I just have to come up with some reason why I'm not with her. But then, I mean, I've even had, you know, she's my third best friend's ex-girlfriend. You know, it's like worse than sucking a dick. For Australian manhood, we're just never, ever, ever going to sleep with our close friends' girlfriends. It's just like, it's against the Australian culture. But even when you throw that at them, they're still like, but yeah, she really likes you and you guys are good together. And they're always women's testing you to see why. So yeah, beginner guys, good strategy. Intermediate guys, not so good. Advanced guys, terrible. Tess, do you want to add anything to going on a date with a guy and he knows everyone and it's so good? It's, oh, wow, who is this guy? Especially a guy you weren't that attracted to. I think you had a good one about this.
Yeah. I actually, I was dating a guy for a little while who, a German guy who had not even been in Australia for very long, like a few months, like living in Bondi. And yeah, we'd be walking through Bondi and people would just run into people on the street, even not even in venues. They'd be like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, his neighbors really liked him. And then we'd coffee shops, etc. Like he was just a very outgoing, charismatic guy. And the fact that he was getting all of that attention from other people, it made me, it just, to me, it came across like he was, other people like him, so I can also like him, and it kind of came across as a high value, like alpha male, let's say, in that community. So that was hugely attractive to me. So if you guys can use this to your advantage, if you're a regular at the gym or at a bar you go to, or your coffee shops that you frequent regularly, just start talking to the people who work there or other regulars as well, so that when you're with a woman and you're in those places, then this is all working to your advantage. Just say at the gym you're talking to other regulars, all the people who work there, the trainers, the teachers of the classes, and then this woman who you're interested in, she's new to that gym and she sees that, oh, hey, everyone likes James. He knows all the people here. He knows all the trainers. That's going to draw her attention, right? And she's going to be interested straight away. It's definitely worth doing at the places you frequent regularly.
Thanks, Tess. Another example, I'm a yoga guy. I'm not a lift weights guy. I'm a beach sprint guy. I don't really like being in air-conditioned gyms. But I joined a gym because I wanted to get back in and play quite serious basketball. And they're going to beat the crap out of me as soon as I start scoring with my current build. And it's Bondi Beach. There's obviously some hot girls there. I dramatically prefer yoga girls to gym girls, especially in the sack, often intellectually as well. But yeah, there was a tall, pretty handsome, very masculine personal trainer who'd done a bunch of Muay Thai, who, his testosterone would attract women even if he was 5'5", and not very attractive. So yeah, I just made friends with him naturally. We both were quite interested in natural health. We both lived in Bondi. He had amazing social skills. And so the situation there was, he's flirting with girls, so they keep booking his personal training sessions. But he's probably never interested in sleeping with them, so it cost him money. He had to pay Bondi rent and personal trainer income. Every time I walked in, if he wasn't training, say, "Hey, James, how you doing?" He'd come up and start chatting to me. And again, I'm talking about women half my age. 30 years young. Yeah, 30 years younger in some cases. She didn't have much in the way of boobs. It was a ridiculously hot receptionist who was model beautiful, a bit flat-chested, but model beautiful. And when she saw me with this guy, she's immediately just throwing herself at me. I don't pay that much interest in her. I did a strategy I talked about earlier with her. She goes, "Oh, you got a new phone, did you?" She looks at what phone I had, because I had I think I had an iPhone 11, then I suddenly upgraded to I can't remember exactly the numbers, but I suddenly upgraded like 4 iPhones or 3 iPhones. So she goes, oh, you got a new phone? I go, yeah, I got the new iPhone. She goes, yours isn't the new phone, mine's the new phone. She shows me her iPhone, whatever it was at the time, 13 or 14 Pro with the 3 big screens. So yours is different to mine. I can't tell the difference. So as soon as she did that, I'm just like, oh God. Yes, I would definitely sleep with you on the basis of your looks, but I mean, that was the dumbest thing I've heard some girl say. I wanted to be an Andrew Tate and use the B word there, but I held it back. That's the dumbest thing I've heard some girl say in a long, long time. So again, the fact that I had such disinterest after she said that just made her all the more attracted to me, which actually backfired because she knew I didn't like loud music. I really didn't like loud music when I'm working out. And so she eventually, women's tests, women's games, she eventually quickly figured out, if she just plays loud music, this much older guy who the personal trainer loves, who hates loud dance music, he'll have to come to talk to her to turn it down, and maybe he'll talk to me and give me some attention. We've got to do more sessions in female psychology because one of the few dating coaches who's not a complete... I nearly said the R word. Oh, that would have been really bad. A complete idiot. I shouldn't have said that either. He's doing a lot of content about actual deep female psychology, like why your mum doesn't want you to succeed and this sort of thing. I can't remember. Maybe it was close to that. So yeah, people aren't enjoying my stories about the whatever she was, 19-year-old receptionist, and the psychological hacks I used to get her chasing me around the gym. But yeah, I thought that was a good example. Okay, we've got a regular with a question, saving me from long stories that guys aren't interested in. I thought it was a great story. Hopefully my regulars thought it was good. Okay, what has Luke got? Was that Luke? You often mention about the importance of humor and laughter on a first date. How can one improve the sense of humor? No, that's not Luke. That's not Luke. That's Ashkay. Okay, this is sorry, whoever said big question. This is question of the month. This is an excellent question. Excellent question. I need to get a drink of water, but it stinks of dishwashing liquid. I've got to explain this. I forgot to say. Look, I thug. I'll answer the question. Remind me to explain why I look like I got beat up yesterday. Okay, you often mention the importance of humor and laughter on a first date. How can one improve their sense of humor? You've got a great sense of humor, James. Thank you. How did you do that? Don't try to be funny on dates. Don't try to be funny on dates. One more time. Don't try to effing be funny on dates, particularly if we've trained you, if you watched a bit of content. It's back to the tennis commentator. Don't do more than you need to win the point. Don't do more than you need to win the point. That's really, really colossally stupid. If Russell Brand happens to be tuning into my YouTube live, you keep being funny on dates, mate, because you're really good at it. You're really good at it. The average guy watching, which for us is successful business people, C-suite, plumbers, engineers galore, programmers galore, a few accountants, founders, tech guys. Don't try to be funny on dates. Thank you for the compliment, Ashkay. I am regarded as funny by a percentage of the population. I'm not going to speculate how much that is. A lot of people find me absolutely unbearably deplorable. I'm regarded as very funny by a percentage of the population. Some guys have said they did an event just because they found me so funny and they found it entertaining. I can't think they're the high IQ guys, but anyway, that's my ego getting too big. So a percentage of the population legitimately finds me funny, including girls. Monique and several other coaches of mine nearly fell over with just some of the stuff I came up with at live events that I would have put on YouTube if it wasn't for all this woke stuff. But when I try to use humor on one-on-one dates with girls, it severely backfires. It severely backfires. Not always. Sometimes it really works. It's just like talking about sex or sexual fantasies on a date. That sometimes works really well, but it also backfires. So in my view, having not coached you, do not, in the vast majority of cases, try to use humor on a date. Now, most of you just aren't funny. Sorry, you're not funny. You might be occasionally. another chunk of you, I don't know whether it's 10% or 15% or 20%, probably not 20, you might be funny to your friends or your ex-girlfriend who possibly friends with you because it's a similar sense of humor. When I meet a guy I really like, we often, if we ask who are our favorite comedians, we often have a very similar list, even though one of my favorite comedian is not very well known. So yeah, I am considered funny, hopefully egotistical by a good percentage by a percentage of the population, good percentage of my clients, but I don't ever try to do that with women. The exception to that is if I'm in sort of a bar situation or I somehow meet her friends before I sleep with her. I might try to be funny to the group, but I'd rarely, if ever, be funny one-on-one. And even if I haven't been promiscuous for a while, I haven't been approaching girls much, I start to fall back into bad habits, like trying to be funny, talking too much about my travels or mentioning my finance background. I say dumb things. When I'm really unpromiscuous, I slip in, my ex-girlfriend traveled to all these countries as was a model, which is really bad because that just intimidates girls and makes them think I'm a wanker. So you fall into bad habits when you haven't had many girls in a long time, even though you might have been very successful at one point. So back to the question, you've often mentioned the importance of humor and laughter on the first date. You're cheating on us. You're watching someone else's YouTube lives. I'm probably not. Now, if I coached you one-on-one, it could be you're a Russell Brand type. It could be we think, yeah, you should use humor, man. It's really going to work for you. But I'll get Tess's opinion on this. For 90% of our audience, it's probably a big mistake. If you're doing sessions with Tess, ask her what she thinks if you're interested in the question. Tess, if you could talk more about humor on dates. Excellent question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, James. Yeah, we haven't mentioned the importance of humor and laughter on a first date. That's actually incorrect. Yeah, humor, especially in the rapport building phase, I would highly advise against, because it just often doesn't land. You might have different cultural backgrounds. You don't know anything about each other. If you try to make weird sarcastic jokes, she's like, is he being serious? I don't know. And she's probably like, oh, haha, not that funny. And it also kind of, it comes across like you're trying too hard as well. You're just not being genuine. You're kind of being forced. And so maybe down the track, once you have a good idea of how your sense of humor works with each other, and like what she finds funny, or then it might come out naturally. But I would never ever force this. Don't go out of your way to try and be funny. No, don't do that.
Yeah. For people who don't have their friends regularly laughing, often never do this. For even people who are regarded by their friends and many people they know as funny, be very, 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 very cautious. In a group situation, go for it. When you're already sleeping with her regularly, I'm often trying to be funny, often because it annoys the hell out of them. In terms of advanced female psychology, an ex-girlfriend of mine, when I was really funny on boot camps, when all the clients laughed, particularly if the other female coaches laughed, she would get really savagely cruel to me. People don't want to hear about funny. That's kind of funny. We've had a lot of jump outs there. Okie dokie. You can read it, Tess, because you're considerably more beautiful than me.
Yeah, so what do you do when you ask open-ended questions but sharing the answers with few words / barely talks, especially at the beginning? Pickup artists say to lead with storytelling or talk 90%, but this did not work well for me. Okay, I am not surprised that didn't work well for you. Again, if a woman's being really reserved early on for whatever reason, she has a bit of a barrier up. Maybe she's just trying to suss you out, or maybe she's she's unsure of you. Maybe she was taken by surprise and she's not really ready to answer your questions and give a lot of energy to them. There are definitely certain ways to get around that. Storytelling, as in like you sort of answering the question you asked, can work in a way, because you're kind of working, you're kind of playing into the law of reciprocity. It's like, Tess, what's the best thing you got up to last weekend? And she's like, oh yeah, I went for a walk. And then you say, oh cool, yeah, you went for a walk. Yeah, my weekend actually looked like blah blah blah, and you might list 3 different things, right? But you don't go into a whole story about what that involved and blah blah blah, because she'll be like, okay, this guy just introduced himself to me, and now he's just talking about himself, and I do not want to listen to you. Go away. She's not going to want to listen to your stories until you've built rapport. So you just keep it brief, but you might give it, that can help to kind of talk about yourself a little bit and give her an example. It's like, hey, I can open up to you a little bit. This is kind of what I'm looking for. You can do that too. That can work. That is a technique that can work. But yeah, I wouldn't go into long stories. Like I'm not surprised that you starting to talk 90% didn't work well for you, because she's not going to listen to you if you haven't built that initial rapport. I'll turn her off.
Thanks, Tess. That was awesome. I mean, I don't want to be seen as putting people down, but a lot of people who are very successful at building YouTube channels and marketing are just YouTubers, or they're marketers. And so much of the content on YouTube, it could just be some hot girl giving her opinions, which can be good opinions and bad opinions. But so much of the really well marketed, put together stuff is just David D'Angelo mystery method with a bit of the yucky stuff taken out. It's the same set of strategies. So, okay. For 20 years, nearly 20 years, I have been surrounded by women who are as attractive as Tess. 5'8", 5'10", women who are models or worked as models, many of whom have 1 degree or 2 degrees. Hopefully the sort of guys, women that my clients want. Now, when stuff comes out of my mouth, it's essentially a consensus viewpoint of what came out of Jackie's mouth, Nevna's mouth, Natalia's mouth, Jackie's mouth, Val's mouth, Coda's mouth. Just all these women I've employed, I'm just taking, I mean, Jackie's been really good. I mean, an ex-girlfriend of mine, whose name I won't say publicly, she was amazing. So, like 20% of my intellectual property, I just swiped from her because she was the world expert in female psychology, of beautiful women female psychology. So yeah, storytelling, if you're sharing a very short, sharp story about what it is you're interested in, that might work well. If you're doing the pickup artist thing where you've got this long, possibly pre-prepared story, it's going to suck. Most of you, myself included, are not very good at telling stories. How do we know this? Because for 20 years, 19 to be completely honest, 19 years and 5 months or something, I've sat guys down on the Thursday of my boot camp and tried to get something emotional for them to tell a story about, and said, okay, tell a story and try to make Tess feel the emotions you felt when this happened. Everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. If you've got an IQ of 130 or 140 or 150, you suck more than everyone else. So the idea that you're a good storyteller, you're probably kidding yourself, because most guys, when they talk to girls, they give far too much facts and data and information. I'm still terrible. Terrible is an exaggeration. Relative to the average guy, I'm good, but I'm relative to me telling long stories hurting me badly, I'm still terrible. I do it on the YouTube lives. I give you too much background to the story and not the punchline. So yeah, telling long stories, no. Talk 90% of the time, unless you're rich, or you pick her up in a Ferrari, or your name's Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know. Yeah. That's the problem when you get guys with killer Instagrams with big houses and Ferraris and abs. Girls just sleep with them because they want to post a picture beside their oceanfront view or get an invite to his boat. So there's so much stuff that can work for certain people. It's just terrible. When I coach wealthy guys, the first thing I'm trying to get them to do is to play down the money, play down the money. It's going to make it much harder to sleep with beautiful girls. It's going to make it infinitely harder to meet the girl of your dreams because you think you're just sleeping around her the whole time. So yeah, so many guys leave the F-type Jag at home. nab your son's Camry. Don't take the fully loaded white Range Rover. Take the ute you take your jet skis out in, or take your dogs to the beach in. I'm saying this stuff to rich guys all the time. So that was a bit of a rant. So yeah, what you need to do is get better at asking questions. The other thing about leading with stories, which I should have mentioned in the last question someone asked, I'm really good at reading signals. You'd hope so. So much public speaking, sales, and picking up girls and teaching guys how to read signals. But the average man is terrible. I mean, the average woman you're dating is probably 10 times better at reading signals than you. I think there's some data in the Daniel Goleman book about this. And if she's hot, she's probably 15 times. If she's hot and she's got a reasonable IQ, which is probably the target market of many of my clients, she's probably 20 times better at this than you. So you can't read a woman's face, whereas she can read your face like she's, reading a sentence in English, essentially, if you look at the difference. Okay, some great questions at the end. We'd love to have them sooner. They're doing the usual bit.
We missed one, James. I'm just going to skip back quickly because you missed this one from Luke.
Sorry.
Yeah. At what point should you eject from a date, i.e. when the girl's yawning and phone scrolling starts? How best to manage blatant rude behavior?
Luke, by the sounds of it, you're a really busy guy. You should watch this YouTube live because I explained that early on in one of our points. We might do a point review for everyone soon. I'm not putting you down. I really appreciate your support when we're early with YouTube with all your great questions. You should be learning to read signals better so that you're ejecting long before she's giving you these wind-up signals. Now, if you're one of these guys who's quite attractive looking, articulate, intelligent, and clearly financially well off, you're probably getting dates with a lot of girls who I'm talking about my clients, I'm not talking about you, I'm speculating about you. You might be getting a lot of girls who date you, not because you're Luke, whatever your surname is, Luke262, that's an interesting surname, Luke.262, it's because she wants you for X, Y, and Z. Just like a lot of really beautiful girls, a lot of the guys who go out with them aren't really interested in them. They're just interested in another notch in their belt. I mean, I'm one of the most guilty of that at all. Number of women I slept with, as soon as they let slip, they were a model who I wasn't interested in spending 5 minutes with until I found out they were a model. So yeah, and rich guys are probably even more pronounced than pretty girls with this. So yeah, you definitely want to be reading signals earlier. The simple fact is, yeah, to be honest, it doesn't really happen to me. But even my best clients, if they're on a date with a girl they kind of like, at some point they run out of things to say, or she gets nervous, or there's an interruption, or the conversation breaks. So you just got to be able to read the girl's signals and know when she's getting bored. A killer tip, I feel, is when you get to that stage where the girl's losing interest, that's when in my sort of going from essentially 31-year-old virgin to wherever I got to, that's when I'd go to the bathroom, and back in the 2000s or 2010s, I'd pull out my moleskin diary, my black moleskin diary. And, one of the first pages had a bunch of things, conversation starters I could use to save myself. That's a killer bloody tip I've given you. Someone's going to be copying it from me soon with much better SEO and thumbnails than me. So yeah, you don't need to carry around a moleskin diary anymore. You can just have it in the notes of your phone. So have a backup. If you really, really like the girl, have specific notes about her. I don't do this anymore because I rarely meet anyone I'm particularly interested in beyond a bit of a roll in the hay. And in my mid-50s, I'm not as interested in a random roll in the hay as I used to be by a long shot. So how to manage blatant rude behavior? Just learn to read signals so that it doesn't happen to you. Again, big-headed here, sorry. I honestly can't remember the last time that ever happened to me.
It's not a good sign if she's yawning and pulling her phone out. I mean, the date might have just carried on too long in general, but also, yeah, you'd want to exit before that's happening. James's tip about the, take a break, as in like either go to the bathroom or whatever, change the scenario, move to another location or something to keep it moving, and not let it get stale. That can work well too. But yeah, you don't want to leave her at the end of the day bored or feeling like she was, that was a longer period of time than she wanted to spend with you, because you'll go home and be like, oh gosh, don't want to see him again anytime soon, right? You want to leave her wanting more.
I don't know if this will help you, and it might sound conceited, and it also obviously sounds disrespectful to women. There was a fair number of women I slept with in my 30s and even 40s where I decided early on I wasn't even going to date her for a few weeks. It was just purely a conquest, which, I mean, is quite mean, just because whatever, she was with some agency, or she was really beautiful, or in some cases because she was from a country where I hadn't had Australia, Austria, Brazil, Belgium, Bolivia, Bangladesh, probably another B in there, Canada, Costa Rica, Cuba, just a country I hadn't got my flag for. So yeah, there was lots of times where I followed through on sex because of that, because of one of those things, where I just wasn't interested in her, and it didn't last long, obviously. So there's a lot of girls, particularly TESS-like modelly girls, who go on a date with a really successful guy because it looks like he's successful, and especially if he's hot and masculine, where they weren't really that. It was just because he looked really successful that they did. Particularly when they get over a certain age, where they start to really switch their priorities from football player, plays cover bands at local bar, personal trainer, yoga teacher, to a guy who's a lot more established financially, possibly older. I'm not talking about you specifically, Luke. I'm just talking about, again, the consensus of, I don't know, 500 seriously financially successful guys I've coached, including billionaires and CEOs of companies, founders of companies you guys have all heard of, along with a lot of blue collar guys and guys with more average incomes as well. Okie dokie. And if I'd been based in the US, I'd have coached 100 times the successful men I have here, because we get many of them flying over just to do my Sydney event, like a celebrity psychiatrist who retired at 48. Do you remember when he is 60 now or 59 now? Anyway, stop crapping on. So learn to read signals is a short answer. Oh, now I've got all the bloody questions coming through. We don't even need to do a review of the questions. Ask Tess. They don't listen to me.
You've skipped a few, James. Let's just go down and be methodical. Otherwise, we're going to miss them. So
Tess is going to quit because we go too late. And I'm going to get even skinnier than I am now, and probably not give the best answers because you leave your questions too late.
It always happens.
So Tess, make a plea for earlier questions.
Yeah, guys. If you can send you through your questions earlier in the night, it's definitely helpful for us. We always get bombarded at the very end. But are you acquainted with these other Australian dating coaches? Alex Colson and Dan Bacon, who founded The Modern Man? No, we are not.
I am very, 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 very much so. So
okay. I didn't know that, James. I haven't heard about these people.
One of them, his advice probably is far from the worst. I spoke at one of their seminars. He's not working in this industry anymore, so I'll say some stuff. And let's just say, I don't think anyone in the industry had ever done this. I'm showing off a bit. I rocked up at a seminar with people like Adam Lyons, and there was some other celebrities. It was like proper celebrity dating coaches who flew to Australia to do this seminar. They wouldn't let James Marshall on the bill, to give you an idea, who's now pretty big, certainly in YouTube terms. They wouldn't let him speak there. So I spoke at this course, and the guy who ran it, I brought my two girlfriends. I'm just making these up. I was 40. They were 23 and 26 or something. And I brought the two girls up. And the one with the big boobies showed off her big boobies and skinny body rather nicely. the girlfriends of many of them, including the famous ones, were just throwing themselves at me. And the guy, one of the guys you asked about, she comes over and talks to me at the drinks mixer afterwards, where the speakers got to hang out with the clients. And he grabs his girlfriend. He literally grabs her and pulls her away. And she goes, I can't remember her name. I need to talk to you right now. And it's just like he was over the freaking moon jealous that his girlfriend was going anywhere near me. So yeah, I don't know why I told you that story. It sounded like an egomaniac. It's a true story. So yeah, I'm definitely acquainted with them. Anyone who's anyone I probably know of, and in most cases have met. So my views are not just based on hearsay. I mean, occasionally they're based on hearsay, but it's like, I know. I'm not tough, but a tough guy, a guy who can really fight, he can just somehow look at another guy and get quite a good read on him. If there's even the slightest bit of tension, he can get a really good read on him, because tough guys can recognize tough guys in most cases. It's easy. I mean, cauliflower ears, big, powerful cheekbones, let alone, you know, broken nose or something. So it's not hard for a guy who's really tough to smell another guy who's tough. The average guy can't do it. I mean, you can just do it by testosterone amount alone. Most of the guys I've met in my life with extremely high testosterone were fighters. It's really the only way they can get it. There's only so far you can get with bodybuilding. So especially the mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu guys, they're massively masculine. Anyway, the point is, when a guy is legitimately good with women, they gravitate towards each other. The only dating coach I've had any sort of a real friendship with was James Marshall, because we came into the industry. It's like, oh, that guy actually gets laid. Like, seriously, that guy actually gets laid. Oh my God, models. So he said stuff about me on an interview that you can all review on the 21 convention. So yeah, there's just very, very few people in this industry that I know of who are legitimately good. It's mainly just marketers. Because the ones who are legitimately good, we don't have the business now, so the intelligence to actually get a business working. The only reason my business is going to a fair bunch of capital from finance. Anyway, I'm crapping on. Hope this was valuable to you guys. But yeah, I mean, there are some good examples of people doing good jobs, even women. There's some women who offer mostly good advice, but there's very, very few as a percentage, like very, very, very few. It's just like accountants or dentists or lawyers or hairdressers or masseuses or anything. There's a small percentage who are good. There's many who aren't good. And unfortunately, in the coach department, there's many who are like dangerous, which Tony Robbins talks about a lot. But we won't do the bad dating advice again and spend very much time on it, because you boys didn't like it. Anyway, I'm crapping on. Sorry, Tess. So yeah, I'm acquainted with most of the people who are anyone. I've met all the iconic famous ones from the first 10 years of the industry, maybe much more than that. Like pretty much everyone really who's been in the game for much long. I mean, I had the #2 21 convention speech for a decade. So that sort of gave me a status within the industry. I did a very shitty job of monetizing. James Marshall teases me about that quite a bit. Basically, I am the idiot. Okay, next question.
So, also, are you familiar with the term being socially calibrated? Also, the more women a man interacts with, is that the only way or best way to become better socially calibrated? And sorry, there's a follow-on. That way, a man never comes across as weird or creepy or uncomfortable around women. The only way is through exposure. No, I wouldn't say the only way is through exposure to women. You can definitely increase your social skills by, I mean, certain roles, certain jobs help, you know, where you're interacting with people a lot. I think having a lot of female friends as well helps a lot. Having sisters helps, I think. You know, it definitely gives you more of a natural insight into female psychology. having sisters or your close female friends. So yeah, no, it's not just only from spending time with women romantically. Yeah, there are lots of ways you can build these sorts of skills. Spending time with me, you can build these skills as well. James, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want the fast track, just book a handful of Zoom dates with TESS. You'll fly past 98% of the population. Just give me the question again. I'm lining up my dinner. We're not doing any 3-hour ones. You got to ask your questions earlier. What was I going to say? So yeah, can you just go to the first comment, please? I'm just getting some food for my skinny.
Are you familiar with the term being socially calibrated? The more
Absolutely.
women are men. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, the best way to become socially calibrated, it depends where you are already. If you're a salesman or you're somewhat charismatic or you're a leader, the best way for you is to actually go talking to women and learn that way. If you're a programmer who's slept with less than 5 or 10 girls in his life, or someone who hasn't had a girlfriend, you may want to use shortcuts that might not involve Me Too accusations or post-Harvey Weinstein accusations. So as Tess said, there's a whole bunch of jobs like sales or hospitality that can help. I've had some rich clients I've suggested go drive Uber for a while to help you, particularly if they're sort of tech-based clients. But the simplest way is just to use the skills that we teach you to get better with women. Just use them on men. It's the same thing. Open to questions, listen more than you talk. I mean, touching, it's much more low-key version of touching. Compliment people when they're good. It's, I mean, Dale Carnegie, How to Influence People. I plagiarized him a hell of a lot. I don't really plagiarize anyone else. It's mainly the only people I really plagiarize are the great writers like Tolstoy and Flaubert. I can't even pronounce it. So but I've plagiarized Dale Carnegie. I should really have a picture of his book at the end of every chapter because I've plagiarized him a lot. It's not 100% How to Influence People. Read that book. Read that book. Read that book. I don't care who you are or what you do. Read the book. The world will be a much better place. Read the book is the first answer to the question. And then just talk to people. As I keep saying, on my boot camps, you're going to hear this repeatedly. 2 legs, no balls. And a recent one, I've got to put my trademark on it, fatty 40s first. Just get started. Dudes, if you need to. Just talk to people. Picking up girls, attracting girls, talking to girls is, in my opinion, other than maybe some high-level CIA, Mossad agent, is the highest possible level of social skills. It's the reason as humans have this gigantic frontal lobe and our brain, I think it's the frontal lobe, and the brain's just got so much bigger. The weight of our brain compared to the weight of our body is ridiculous compared to nearly any other animal I know. Any scientists, feel free to correct me if I'm talking nonsense. I don't think I am. It's simply because we have had to develop insane levels of social interaction skills in order to survive. Survival of the fittest is a complete nonsense, as Darwin pointed out. And I can't remember. I should know. He's one of my heroes. Was it the 1800s? Oh, I feel silly now. When it was 1788, I think. Tess, can you quickly find out when when Descent of Man was released? No, it must have been 1888. I've forgotten the year. I'm getting old. I can't even remember important facts I used to know, partially because of too much noise out the front. The reason we've become these completely socially dominated creatures, Dale Carnegie again, even in engineering, 95% of remuneration is determined by your social skills, not your people skills. So when was Descent of Man written?
1871.
Oh, it's close. Anyway, yeah, it was the 1800s. That's when religion got a big kick in the nuts. The other person I plagiarized more than everyone else put together is Charles Darwin, possibly followed by Dale Carnegie, possibly followed by the girlfriend I had who was a fly around the world elite model when I started as a dating coach, plus the consensus of all my female coaches. A wee bit different to someone who read the game and downloaded all the David D'Angelo discs and just copied them over and over again. Okay. Best thing. I copied Tess and Jackie and Natalia and Nevena and Val and all these, and Kota and all these women, and like 50 others. So yeah, you can get a job. You can just try to be more social with people. Definitely read How to Influence People. That's like the #1 hack. Go home, read that tonight. Preferably not the audio book. Preferably buy the actual physical book. So it's one of the greatest books that's ever written. And it's not like interesting to read, but it'll change your life more than anything apart from maybe the Stoics, philosophers, and certain novels, but we won't get into that. Go again.
Okay, next question. I can relate to the above user. Rejection doesn't bother me. It's the risk of possibly making women uncomfortable or being perceived as creepy and weird by them. So
I'll cover that first, I think, Tess. That's why we have Tess. That's why we have Natalia. That's why we have Jackie. That's why we have Nevena. That's why nearly every female coach I've ever hired is a model or a former model, and most of them are like 5'10". I hire tall, intimidating girls with long, pretty legs and thick hair. I've got a whole bunch of Tess's. That way, you get rid of all your mistakes. And these days, get rid of all your mistakes on Zoom. You don't even need to do it in real life. You're in the top 1% of men if you sort of actually follow through. Just on Zoom with Tess and Natalia, they're the two specialists. And then when you get them in person, it's like all the body language mistakes, all the sitting too close, all the touching weird, all the not touching, all the talking too much. Sorry, that would be done on Zoom. All that stuff gets eliminated then. So we get short, ugly. What was my line a few weeks ago? You got enough hair on your back to make a jumper to fit Shaquille O'Neal. That's why all these guys, and I boast he's 5'4", he's 54, he's got 3 girls on the go. One of them's 22 or something. These stories are true, but I'm the person who designed. Elon Musk didn't build rocket ships himself, or build XAI himself, or build Neuralink himself. He hired a lot of the smartest people in the world. I didn't build Social Coach myself. I hired a lot of Tess and Natalia, and they built it because it's their coaching that does it. So yeah, so much of why we get insane results I'm not aware of anyone that I know of replicating by far is because of Tess and Jackie and Natalia and Nevena, and because the experience you have getting rid of nearly all your mistakes and learning way better habits from girls that, in many cases, you're probably shitting yourself talking to. A guy who, you reminded me of a joke, I maybe shouldn't say, but I think I will. The guy who flew across the world from LA, he had a few things he was doing well. He was very confident. But his body language when he first did an approach, particularly a seated approach, was atrocious, because the courses he'd done was basically warm them up, just go out and do high energy approaches, which is better than doing nothing. So yeah, you're going to get rejected. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get rejected. I get rejected. Everyone gets rejected. Leonardo DiCaprio will probably get rejected a lot by girls who don't want to be another notch in his bedpost. An ex-girlfriend of mine rejected Michael Jordan on a date in a really, really harsh way. She's the one I got the "what was the last great book you read" question of. I'll just tell you the story. She's out with Mike. Yep. That guy, who's probably the greatest athlete of any lifetime, apart from maybe an Aussie called Don Bradman, but we won't get into that. Yeah, obviously, it's at that stage, he's still probably close to the most famous man in the world. No, maybe not by then. This is 2008, this happened. And yeah, she just goes, "What was the last great book you read?" And he said, "Oh, I'm too busy with my businesses and all the stuff I'm doing and coaching and mentoring to read books." And she honestly goes, "That's not very good. You're like one of the biggest role models to anyone anywhere in the world, and you don't take the time to write books." And yeah, the GOAT of basketball and potentially another sport, he wasn't too impressed that this 6'1" very fetching young lady with the legs as long as his made this comment. So yeah, it didn't go on much longer than that, but he was not happy at all. So yeah, even Michael Jordan gets rejected. I've got a first-hand example of that. She claims that he never sort of went there. Judging by the size of certain parts of her body, she may have been telling the truth, especially given she was 6'1". Sorry, I'm trying to say things in a way that's funny, but not going to get me in trouble. So yeah, everyone gets rejected. You have to get rejected. If you go work with TESS, your rejection rate's going to drop by 9 times out of 10. But then even if you do, you're going to be trying with much more beautiful women you'd have ever thought possible, and they're going to reject you. And then once you get good, you sleep with 10 or 15 girls in a year, you're going to smell much more confident. Then the pretty girls, they're going to start poking you to see if you really are this confident. So yeah, rejection is a part of life. I'm not a very good salesman or marketer. Do a date with TESS, you'll never ever be rejected again. Rejection will go away forever, your approach anxiety will vanish, and 3 models, 1 supermodel will land on your dick, and every one of those girls will like the taste of other women's Watsits. So yeah, that's what a lot of people say. No, you're going to get rejected. And the better the girls you go after, the better the girls you get, the better the girls you end up with, the more you're going to be rejected. So as I like to say, learn to suck a dick. And even then you're going to get a lot of rejection, I'd imagine. So you're going to get rejected. And if you ever get near a girl who's going to be a long-term mate for you who's reasonably attractive, you're going to get rejected a lot. Next question, we better wind up soon. No more 3-hour Scorsese Tarantino movies. Quick joke from a comedian I don't really like. Was it Tarantino's last movie? He really fell overboard, apart from post-Pulp Fiction. It was just a crash, apart from Django. But anyway, his last movie, the joke at the Oscars was, what's the movie? Once Upon a Time in America was so long that Leo had to dump his girlfriend at the end of it because she'd already got too old for him. I kind of thought that was a funny joke. So anyway, probably not entertaining many people, just myself. Let's go. I plagiarized that. So let's get to the next question. Let me just give a very direct, short answer. Can you go back?
Yeah.
You've got to accept rejection. You've got to accept that's part of the process. And when you start to get really confident, they're going to reject you just to see what happens, just for curiosity. And when you go up to hot girls, particularly if you're really confident, they're going to reject you more harshly than ever, like more harshly than ever. A girl who was really attracted to me, who overheard me say something to someone else, a Russian girl that wasn't about her, I said, I turned to a Russian girl. I said, do you find most Australians really stupid? Because they've got a very different education system to us. And the girl who really liked me, she must have been a rock climber or something. She grabbed my nipple so hard. It was like almost excruciating pain. And I'm pulling her off, but she had really strong hands. And eventually some male friend of hers had to drag her off in a headlock because I upset her so much. I maybe didn't get rejected, but I got my nipple savaged. And it didn't look very good on a boot camp. She really went after me. But before I go on, people aren't switching off. How did I get this? Okay, James, the dating coach, he's got a habit of really injuring himself in the most embarrassing way possible. I'm currently in Indonesia. It's the wet season, so things are pretty damp. So yoga crow pose, I've decided to incorporate that into my routine. I haven't done that for a while after some Grok AI yoga tips. So I'm doing my little crow pose, which is that one. And it was a bit slippery. So when I'm coming out, I had a slide and it looked like someone punched me in the head. So I'd like to say, it's boxing training. I coached this guy who was a bit heavier than me. And yeah, I got him, but he got me worse. I don't get black eyes very much. So this is good. So yeah, how does James injure himself? He falls over doing the crow pose. It wasn't jiu-jitsu. My head got slammed into the mat. Another time, I don't know if you can see this. I'm not very good at this. Anyway, look, I'm hypnotizing you guys. For anyone who follows cricket, probably baseball, this is really bent. This finger used to go like that. Can anyone guess how I did this injury to a finger? If you look at any great cricket wicket keeper, their fingers are all bent around like that. Every joint's like out of place. I had that injury. I can't remember. Any doctors watching tell me what the injury was. Can anyone guess how I busted me finger. I was having sex on a leather chair and I was trying to change the position of penis relative to vagina relative to G-spot to give that young lady some more pleasure. And she came quite abruptly and managed to take my finger, which had previously been straight like this one, and managed to make it sort of go at right angles. So I had to go off to hospital at 12:30 at night. And I was in quite a bit of distress because I really love me basketball. I really love all me sports. Mind you, if I was ever doing the digital penetration thing, hope it doesn't get me in trouble, it'd probably be a really cool new angle for me to target, just like the Wayne Bobbitt effect. But I was much more interested in basketball and dunking than I was on trying to dunk at my age, at least, than I was on being a master of digital penetration, because some girl fell on me and busted my finger when I was in the girl on top position, trying to just get the thing going closer to the G-spot. So yeah, that's how I did my finger. And one last one, no one's turned off. I was coaching a residential in Bali, in Canggu. And a few days before I fly out, I'm a real animal lover, so I'd always feed little lorikeets and I'd have them sit in my shoulder while I'm sitting working away, because I don't really like using a computer. They'd just sit there patiently for half an hour or something. I'm waiting for me to get up and feed them. So anyway, I had wooden floorboards and I had one or two, you'd always get the old lorikeet shit somewhere on the floorboards, and I'd usually see it coming. But one time I'm walking around in bare feet, I'm in a bit of a hurry, and I slide on the freshly laid lorikeet shit, and I stubbed my toe so bad that I couldn't walk properly for like 3 or 4 days. And even then I'm sort of hobbling around on my residential like a cripple. I pretty much needed crutches the first few days. So yeah, I could probably come up with some more good ways to injure myself. I nearly broke my shin one time trying to climb over fences to get into my backyard after I drank like 30 Crown Lagers, because there was an old school barbecue sitting there, and I got this gigantic chunk of flesh out of my shin bone. I didn't even feel it. It was so bad. Would anyone like another story? I once I was climbing through my window again after 24 or 30 beers. I'm a Perth boy. I'm an Australian. They're starting to tune out now. And so I'm climbing through the window, blah, 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 blah. I'd done the climb many times, but I had so many drinks that when I'm climbing through my window so drunk, I don't know if I fell over or I caught the cord of my stereo with my foot, and then that made me topple over. I lost my balance, even though I'm quite athletic. So then I fell, and my big motherfucker stereo fell on my head, and a friend's dad who was a doctor said, you got to go get stitches in that thing. So yeah, I've got lots of good, interesting ways to injure myself badly that don't involve boxing or Muay Thai or jiu-jitsu or anything like kind of masculine. Just slipped on a lorikeet shit. Anyway, not too many people switched off. If anyone would rather not hear my stupid stories about, it's not going to be a material number. Okay, let's move on and actually get some guys some dates and approaches, and not just talk about sliding on lorikeet shits or unfortunate sexual accidents to my finger that would have stopped me playing basketball ever again.
Okay, yeah. So just to quickly wrap up, nobody's perfect. Yeah, rejection is just part of it. And if you want to never be perceived as creepy or weird by women, I highly suggest that you book in a session with me. The link is pinned in the chat. I can assure that you will not be coming across as creepy and weird, and that's for sure. There might be some rejection in the mix, because some women are taken, they're just not open. It's just part of the game. But yeah, I will make sure you are not being perceived as creepy or weird. Okay.
What she says, which is actually, TESS is learning to be a great marketer. That's some really good marketing copy. I have to write that down. Next one, we better jump out soon. This is far too long. My fault.
Okay. To attempt to change my mindset for the better, having awkward, horrible interactions with women that result in being perceived as weird or creepy, it's part of the learning process, right? It's how we learn from our mistakes. No, being perceived as weird and creepy. Yes, that is a mistake. You should learn from that. If you feel like, oh, she definitely thought I was weird or creepy, and that's why she rejected me. Yes, that is a mistake. And how do you learn from that? To not be weird or creepy, right? But if you don't know why she perceived you as weird or creepy, it's going to be really hard for you to make any headway there. So let me help you with this. Let me help you with this. I can, yeah, if you want to work with me, I can actually tell you why they think you're, like, why they perceived you as weird or creepy in that moment. There are lots of reasons why that could have been the case. But yeah, how do you learn if you don't actually know what's behind that? You can learn, okay, she thought I was creepy or weird, but if you don't know why, if you don't get that feedback, then how do you improve? So I'm here to give you that feedback.
That's excellent. Yeah, I don't think any woman's ever said, well, not post me sleeping with dirty girls or something. I think any woman's ever said I was creepy. Some of them said I was very rude, obnoxious. I've never had that feedback at all. But yeah, if you haven't slept with a bunch of girls, you haven't had experience, you're going to come across as creepy. It's just part of life. Okie dokie. Next question. We better just run through them. I don't want to be going 3 hours.
Yeah. And then it would be awesome if you have workshops in the US. Yes.
Depending how our YouTube goes, that's our plan. We really would love to do that in 2026. Having said that, you can, for a very reasonable fee, because it's a new product, you can book our program and not have to do the boot camp and get, I don't even know, for the average guy, probably 60% of the benefits without doing the boot camp. So we can help you. We can stop you being creepy. We can teach you tons about female psychology. We can do all that on Zoom. The girls, they work quite a range of hours. So we've got many, many American clients. So yeah, as I said, I've said this before, but guy flew from New York, guy flew from LA, and a guy flew from South Africa. We really have a global business, which I've done a crazily bad job of marketing. So I'd love to do one. I don't know the exact month. It's probably going to be June, July, August or something. I'm going to do a bit of travel then. I have to find a way to get TESS over. And then I've already got girls that I will be trained up to be dating coaches on the spot. I'm talking to a New York, an LA actress model, and there's a dear friend in LA. His girlfriend's really hot, thanks to me, and she'd love to do it. She's already applied for a job when she was in Sydney. So yeah, we really want to do workshops in Sydney soon. But yeah, share our YouTube channel with all your friends. And hit that bell and do anything you can to get us more views. And if that's the case, we'll definitely be in the US, because I'm an absolute dip. I didn't make like finance money, but if you look at the money I was making pre-COVID, if I extrapolated that to the US market, yeah, even with a terrible funnel and business model and doing basically everything wrong, letting my SEO be broken for 10 years, which I just found out today, I'd be pretty well off, to put it mildly. So yeah, we definitely want to do US. And I've had so many guys fly. Two of my 5 favorite clients off the top of my head are American guys, both very successful and very interesting. One famous company founder. Let's get on to the questions so we can wrap up before we hit the 3-hour marker.
James, you sometimes quote Buddhist alternative stuff sometimes, and then sometimes Darwin. Are you an atheist or not?
Both. No, I'm not an atheist, but it depends how you define atheist. I sound like a wanker here. In terms of the 3 monotheistic religions, I think they're a load of shit designed to control you. That may have done some good for the world, along with a lot of damage. This isn't to be taken the wrong way. I have a huge percentage of Jewish friends relative to any other group, given the number of Jewish people I know, partially because of their IQs. I'm adopted. It's been speculated that I'm Jewish by Jewish people. They didn't give me the clip though, so the adopted mum didn't follow through with the usual procedure. I don't know about Jewish kids being adopted by no, they're probably, anyway, I'm talking crap. So yeah, I am really driven by Buddhism. My first Vipassana was maybe the best thing I've ever done in my life. I would not be a dating coach if I hadn't that experience. I'd be too hungry to get money. Love of my life plus Vipassanas is what turned me to being a dating coach versus making a lot of money in finance. And I am obsessed with Darwin, so just put WhatsApp, it's annoying me. Obsessed with Darwin. Probably one of my 5 favorite human beings of all time. So I'm both. I don't know. There's a reasonable chance we die and go back to the food chain, but I'm very, very open to the idea that there's something beyond that. And I've had experiences through meditation, serious deep meditation, that's really handy little stories when you want to pick up the spiritual hippie model girls. I've had a few of them where I experienced things that, you know, weren't experienced by maths and physics and science. So yeah, I'm both. I'm hardcore Darwinian. When I say I'm hardcore Buddhist, I'm very open to a lot of concepts from Hindu as well. Hinduism, to the best of my knowledge, invented yoga, which has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. And if you want to get better with women and you're over 30, let alone 40, and you're not doing yoga, you are an effing idiot, my friend, because it's your entree to the girls and it's your entree to superpowers with the thing between your legs and the taste of your skin that will get you girls way beyond what you ever reasonably expect. Some of my most intense philandering in Australia was just 2 yoga studios. Oh, I thought of this tip today. I didn't do it for that reason. I used to go to yoga studios because I'm too lazy to go to the gym or do anything like that. Might do a few pull-ups when I do a run if I could still do a few pull-ups. But yeah, I do some push-ups because you got to make sure you don't let your testosterone drop too much. So I did this because I can't be bothered going to the gym and I didn't have that much time. I was too busy having sex to bother about lifting weights or something. So yeah, I've always probably been able to do 20 push-ups, no problem. I did probably 50 push-ups with a bit of a break a while ago. But yeah, when I went to yoga class, I just start off by doing push-ups. Might even do some ab exercises because that would be my only resistance training, which is very, very important. I don't need to go to gyms. But yeah, a couple of girls said, look at you showing off. And my social intelligence went, showing off? I'm 10 or 15 years older than most of the guys here. My body's nowhere near the top 50% of men. Because a lot of hunky hippie men go to yoga just purely to use it as an easy sex factory. And some of them are magnificent. Tess, can you say a little word about the Uber gigolos for me? Some of the most beautiful men you've seen in your life. It's like abs on top of abs on top of abs. They've spent 0 time meditating and their entire rest of their life doing sit-ups. Some of the most magnificent men you can ever imagine just running through 30-something women in Ubud, Bali, which is not the toughest pastime if you do a few dates with Tess and feedback. So how did I get onto Ubud gigolos from Buddhist and Darwin? I think it went through Hinduism. I got to keep myself in check. People aren't switching off, funnily enough. So yeah, I'm both. I'm hardcore Darwinian, but at the same time, I'm very open to something that we can't explain with maths and science. That only happened post falling properly in love and post a lot of time sitting with my legs crossed going, this freaking hurts. This freaking hurts. For anyone who wants meditation tips, most householders, as they're called by spiritual pastimes, particularly if you've played some sport, you'd be far better off meditating just sitting in a chair with your spine upright rather than thinking you got to master the full lotus or even the half lotus before you start meditating. Yeah, gave you some meditation tips, probably a lot better than some of the stuff you see on YouTube. Next question. Yeah, and we are definitely going to the US as soon as I get more YouTube views. And I've got a bunch of people I haven't seen for a long, long time. All my girlfriends there are probably going to be well into their 30s now. So that won't be such a draw. It would have been 10 years ago. Next one.
Okay. Simon just says, never climb up a wet baseball net as you can injure your shoulder. That's something I've learned. Tess and James, I now will use my cologne as toilet spray. Luckily, it's only $20 Nautica. Great. Thank you for listening to our advice, Simon. Yeah, keep the cologne at home, not on your date. Good.
Okay,
yeah,
wait.
Let's
slow down. Especially for you blue collar guys or anyone. If you must wear cologne, don't. You heard Tess. But if you must, make sure it's not something you can get from Kmart or Walmart. At least get a good one. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. It's stupid. But if you must, I was going to.
Why? Just don't. Sorry. If you must, you don't must. just don't wear it. Like, this is, I feel really strongly about this, guys. Yeah, don't wear cologne. Just be clean. Just smell clean. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt Tess and contradict her. This is true for Tess and most high quality women that I regard as high quality. I can't do a very good American redneck accent or trailer park accent, but I can do a good Aussie one. If you're kind of like Shazza, who works at the local deli and likes to hook up with DJs and football players, she might be a little bit partial to an expensive cologne. So it could kind of work in your favor. But I'm guessing if you've listened to me crap on for 2.5 hours, you're probably hoping to get something a little bit more sophisticated than that, at least once you've got a few little roots under your belt. So yeah, none of the old spice, none of the links, even though they make really good TV commercials. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go because it's going to be a big freaking concert soon. So yeah, and don't use it as toilet spray. Just Google, ask AI about health benefits of using it anywhere, apart from as mace. When a girl runs out of mace, maybe she can carry around some Nautica or Old Spice to use as mace if she runs dry of the mace.
And we have our last question. James, is there any novel you'd recommend that gives a good example of a man personifying a man who is successful with women?
Yes. 1 second. Let me shut the door. But it's like 700 pages long and in large part pretty badly written. Do you still want to read it? I could name a lot. Lady Chudley's Lover, Malure, the gardener. The ultimate is Howard Rourke. God bless you to an Indian, Bollywood-looking Indian model. I said that before. Who wouldn't sleep with me till I read that book? I didn't get to sleep with her. I didn't get another date with her till I'd read that book. But when I did, it's actually I read a passage for that to close one of my what's considered my very, very best live event that's been endlessly copied. Everything I do in that event is turned into Red Pill or people who I taught about sex doing sex programs and even people doing women's psychology stuff I was doing 15 years ago. I'm rather big-headed tonight, but it's all true. So yeah, there's many. In terms of something digestible to the average person watching this, Vicky Cristina, Barcelona, screenplay written by a genius, a complete genius. Just the most famous scene is probably not what you do. The rest of it, female psychology, brilliant. Most of you wouldn't understand the psychology at play. But yeah, if you haven't watched that, if you're not doing yoga, just do these things. There's such quick, easy wins. So I think we might sign off there. Thanks for the string of excellent questions. Look at the time. Later, we have a bunch of more points I think are valuable. So yeah, my regulars, if you didn't need to hear all the ways I've injured myself, or a doctor, or anyone in the replay, or a doctor who called me a bad boy when I was a vegan, a skinny little pathetic vegan, let me know in the chat. We need feedback. We think these are really, really good. I do. The value I'm giving you is immense, but unfortunately, I need to learn to target for people who aren't my clients. And some great questions from my regulars at the end. So Tess, if you could just thank all our regulars, we really, really appreciate them. And then
Yeah,
I'm
thank
going to
you.
eat some food.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. We had some really interesting, some good questions tonight. We thank you so much for your engagement, for being here, for your support. For anyone new, please like and subscribe to help us out. And yeah,
share.
any like and share. Yeah. And
Ring that freaking bell. That's the most important of all. I don't know why, but ring that freaking bell, please.
ring the
Please.
bell. Ring the bell. Ding ding ding.
Could you beg for us?
Please
Ring the bell. Please ring the bell.
Ding ding. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next time. And yeah, any feedback as well, we really appreciate. We take everything on board. So yeah, thanks guys, and see you again soon.
Keep smiling. Bye for now, and be careful of the crow pose on a damp floor when you haven't done it very much lately. Yeah, it can make me look like a tough guy. I might be able to get some hardcore bogan chicks now. Anyway.
See you guys. Bye.
See you guys.